Welcome to The Collective, where every conversation ignites a new perspective. Join us as we delve into the journeys of remarkable individuals, explore the art of growth, resilience, and the power of a shared mission as we strive to be better together. Hey everybody, welcome back to The Collective. We have another fantastic show for you planned out. Today we are going to be hitting up, Sean's got his coffee right to his nose. Perfect. We're going to be doing vet photo contest number 6. We got a whole bunch of submissions and we're actually going to run through them because we have a little bit extra time on The Collective rather than the workshop. Now, if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, anything else throughout the show, make sure you put them up in the comment section. We can hit those as we go. And then, of course, if you are not signed up for the reinforcement loop, that is our weekly newsletter, make sure you are. It has all of the information from the shows as well as a little bit of brain candy from Shaun. And Shaun and I decided a little while ago that during the summer, I'm going to be writing a few of them. So then you'll have some brain candy for me as well.
Yes, all the typos.
All the typos and Sean's camera disappears. It's a good way to do it. Right off the bat, Dan C jumped in here and said, "Good morning, gentlemen. Time to kick some ass." And it really is. We got some kick-ass photos as well. I'm excited to punch through here, but let's get some intros out of the way. Seb, we all know you. We love you. How's life down south?
Good, man. Things are really good here. I can't wait to be the only unqualified judge on this panel. Should be good.
Pat,
I want to judge all of these people.
you should judge us as well. That way you just getting all the judges.
Everybody gets a judge.
Everybody gets a judge. Pat, how's life out west, buddy?
It's good. Yeah, I did a couple days on set. Otherwise, I came back from the States, about 10 days ago from shooting King of the Hammers, which was a bag drive. I won't lie. It was like shooting from 6 a.m. till 5 a.m. Safety meeting, try to call, charge batteries, and do that all again for basically 7 days straight. So, and all in the desert, and it was quite a trip. It was fun.
It sounds fun. Some of the shots you sent that you put up online were just freaking amazing as well. So good on you. And I'm sure that the people that you're working with there, I can't wait to see all their stuff. Sean, how's life in the mountains?
Yeah, things are good. You know, Pat, you brought up an interesting point there. I mean, anyone who's been in the photography game for a long time understands this extremely well. But, you know, you get a camera in your hand and you get out there and you start taking photos. And you can do it like this. Oh, there's a nice photo. Bam. And you get one photo that day and that's it. You get one photo this month and you turn it into the photo contest. It's a beautiful black and white and you win. But, you know, there's a whole other side to photography as well that Pat just described. I've felt it myself. And it's you get up at crazy hours. You work super hard. You take 1,000 photos. You have to cull 997 of them. And you're left with 3. And you work like a dog. And you're still not happy with what you put out. That's the other part of photography as well. So anyone who put in a photo this month, you might have just got a photo like this. Bam! Wow, I got a photo. And it's amazing. Or you might have worked like a dog. That's photography, man. And I don't think we often talk about that, how frickin' hard it is to get a good photo. And so, you know, Pat, you understand this as well as anyone. You just came through it. The reality is that if you want to do anything well, if you want to do anything at a high level, it's hard work.
Well said. Well said. It is definitely hard work. I've watched some photographers really work a day, and it is not easy. And
I won't lie. I was gonna say too, like, I literally almost had like some sort of like, you know, like when you it reminded me of being in the army. This like almost like PTSD moment. I was 2 days out of the event, and I was in a hotel room, well rested, well fed. And I panicked. I flipped out of that bed. I'm like, I gotta be on the other side of the track at like 6 a.m. And I was like flopping around in the whole bit. And I'm like, wait. I'm safe. I'm in a hotel. I can chill the F out.
Did you reach down for your camera? Like, oh my God, I gotta get no. But.
Oh yeah, full up. I was in full panic mode. My brain was still looping. It's like, I gotta be at like vehicle checkpoint 22 in like the next freaking 20 minutes. I'm gonna be late. And
Well, we feel for you. Don't worry. We
I'm sure you do.
A couple more comments jumped in here. Satch in Motion, good morning, team. Good to see you, buddy. Littlefoot 377, always miss the contest. I'll get it one day. One day you will. Dan C comes in. That's life, and that is the way it is. Before we get started, I just want to ask any thoughts on black and white photography, just in general, before we dive into any of the photos. And I'm going to hit Shaun first, and I'm going to work my way up the table. So, Shaun, what do you think?
Sure. I've always loved black and white photography, right from, I don't know, I guess 1981 when I was Grand Cache High School photography student for the high school graduation book, like the photo book. I was the photographer. And that's how my photo career started. I was shooting 35 millimeter, black and white, more often than not, developing it myself in the Grand Cache junior senior high school darkroom, and learning how to work with contrast and learning how to work with light and shadow. And so I came from black and white film, and now I really appreciate black and white digital. And I've already stated why I love it, because of contrast, light, and shadow. Something that I feel black and white photography captures extremely well. And if I'm being honest, I find that color photography dilutes the ability or the magic of contrast, light, and shadow when you compare it against black and white. And I know that's unfair, but that's just the way I feel.
I'm down with it. Pat, what are your thoughts on black and white photography?
Well, I've always loved black and white photography. I mean, this is where we kind of started off in the photography world. Color didn't come in until this late 60s, mid 60s, somewhere in there. So, I mean, we were black and white up to that point. And there's always like Sean kind of nailed it with like the light, contrast, shadow, and different film stocks, different development changes all that. But I think a lot of us have always been appreciative of being able to just see something without the color, just the structure, the contrast, the light and shadow. Like you look at any Adam Ansel picture and you're just kind of like, you'll just stand there and stare at it for a while. And that's, I guess, the goal of any photography. And so now we moved into digital and we're working in monochrome. I think it can be very beautiful to really emphasize all those shadows and contrasts. And in fact, sometimes I'll edit that way. I'll actually pull my saturation out of my photo first, adjust all my shadow and exposure and those elements before I bring my color back in and tweak my color. And color is its own thing. Like you look at like Larry Burroughs, we've talked about him before. He was an interesting photographer because, being a war journalist, a conflict photographer, he started black and white and then color film all of a sudden made its way into the world. And he's like, oh, now I'm shooting color. It's interesting to see his transition between the two compared to other photographers.
I've never really been big into photography. So a lot of times when you guys are mentioning certain photographers, and I'm always just like, I don't know any of these guys. But it's funny because there are some quintessential photos that I can think of that are all in black and white, but I could not tell you who the photographer is. And so it's just part of not being really in the crew. Shaun, what do you got?
So you're right. And on our trip to Vietnam, so 6 weeks in Vietnam just last year, we were in, of course, Hanoi, and we were in Ho Chi Minh City. And visiting those two cities, there's some big museums and a lot of war history. And as part of one of the days that we spent touring around a museum, the museum had a bunch of war photography in it. They had a dedicated wing, an entire floor to just war photography. And it started at the earliest point of the conflict all the way through to the end and beyond the end of the conflict. And Larry Burroughs was one of the predominant photographers in that collection because, of course, his work is so striking. It's remarkable. It's historical. And so, Chance, you have seen his work. You just don't know it as such. And so photography is a study. It is a art that you can study. And so as I get to more and more of these locations and get exposed to more and more of these amazing photographers, you can either like wander through it and not really study the art, or you can wander through it and try to become an artist through seeing artists' work. And so that photography that I saw in Vietnam has, I feel, made me a better photographer, not because it gave me some magical properties, but because I saw, I was inspired by it. I saw like just world class art. And sometimes you've got to stand in front of world class art to feel like you can explore that artistry. So, chance you have seen it, but now it's your job to like pay attention to it, you know?
For sure. Absolutely. And I think since doing these contests, I was actually telling Seb that now that we've done a few of them and I've judged some imagery, I have a better appreciation for it right off the bat. But on top of that, I'm able to kind of look at it from the different angles that you guys were talking about when we actually do these contests, which is great. Seb, you got any thoughts on black and white photography?
Yeah, I guess I can just speak to as a as a layperson some of the things that come to mind, and I really like the relationship with time of the black and white. You know, you don't exactly know what time period it's in because you don't have any reference point really, other than specific items that you might be focusing on. But I really like that piece of it. For whatever reason, I have a soft spot for anything that looks ancient or archaic or as if it provides meaning because it's still around somehow after all this time and it's still being looked at. So for me as a layperson, that's one of the key things that I like about black and white photos. Now, as Shaun was discussing the technical pieces around that, I started thinking, well, what's also crazy is you're taking a lot of the external factors that are influencing how the photo comes out. So you have to now essentially make it up with skills and creativity and how you're going to draw certain things out of the pictures, out of the scene that you're trying to, take or photograph. And so I'm assuming, and I don't know that for a fact, but I'm assuming that it poses its own set of challenges in trying to really draw the viewer inside the photo, because it's really easy on a black and white to just kind of scroll through. But it also, because there is a sort of an enigma to it, it also kind of sucks you in to try to look at the depth at the levels in there. And so it has that duality, so to speak. You can either scroll by it if it's just a flat black and white, and you can really get drawn in if it's a deep black and white with a lot of technical things, I guess. But for a layperson, it's just, I don't know what attracted me to it, but it just had some depth.
Yeah, I totally agree. Shaun, what do you got?
One more thing I should add right up at the front end here is the way that we shoot, or you shoot, or anyone shoots black and white, is either you're lucky or you're skilled. And Seb just said it. And so when I first started shooting black and white, and actually not until a few years ago did I understand from a photography perspective. I understood it through a sniping perspective, but a photography perspective, it was newish information to me, or at least I thought about it a new way, when I realized that our minds, when our visual cortex, how we see the world, there's two pathways that your brain works. Your first pathway is you see contrast. You see the black and whiteness of the world. You see light and shadow. You see the sharpness of things. The other secondary visual pathway is color. So you first see black and white to some degree, and I'm oversimplifying. But then your second visual pathway adds color. You can get by in the world with just black and white. And if I might add this as a thought construct, the moment that you add color to a photograph, it to some degree can dilute it. It can overcomplicate it. It can distort the initial impression of a photography moment. The first visual pathway, that bam, that impression that you get, that sense of things, that feeling, that's your first visual pathway. The second visual pathway, filling in all the gaps, color, that can sometimes slow you down a little bit. So if you understand how to play with black and white, to Seb's point, you'll go by photos that feel flat, kind of feel like singular toned, kind of feel like one-dimensional. Or you can go to another black and white photo where it pulls you in to a almost infinitesimal Like, bam, you're in it, and you're still in it. You're still falling into it. A day later, you're still tumbling into that black and white because of the three-dimensionality, because of the contrast, the pop. So understanding how the visual cortex works is useful if you're manipulating photos or manipulating minds.
That's
And I'll, oh,
what do you
sorry. I was just gonna say too, it's funny too, like if you really go down the rabbit hole of black and white photography, you'll start to see that color is being manipulated by a very good photographer with black and white, and you won't know it. Um, like with black and white film, most like photographers, they'd actually have a pocket full of colored filters. So if they're shooting a person, they'll throw on a red filter, makes the face whiter, takes away the contrast, the mud in the face, it creates all that different stuff, right? They might put on a yellow filter, a green filter. And so the next time, and this is just like a tip idea thing, or if you're enjoying the monochrome realm, and you're going to kind of play with that more, don't be afraid to go into your color sliders if you're in whatever editing program you use, whether it's your iPhone or Lightroom, and move your color sliders around, and you'll see that picture change. You'll see the shadows change. You'll see contrast change. You'll see a lot of things change in the image, and it's just a tip trick observation.
I dig it. That's great to start off with. I got a couple comments I want to touch on real fast. Ethos Neris jumped in here, said, "Howdy, good to see you, buddy." Says, I was always told when developing maps to consider people that are colorblind," and that's an interesting point. When I was trying to develop some of the pieces, the video I was going to put out that never got to, was part of the wording was wondering about colorblind people, because a lot of times we just assume that everybody else can see the same spectrums that we can, which isn't true.
But I've said it before that I'm partially colorblind.
Yeah.
And I'm also a Army and Special Operations sniper. So how does that work? Well, my partner would see things that I couldn't, and I would see things that he couldn't.
Exactly.
And between the two of us, we saw things that were, a combination. And so there's not too much we missed because we combined our two optical centers, as it were. And so, taking it back to black and white photography, if Pat and I both have cameras and give us a day, we'll take the same scene and make it look 1,000 different ways.
Mm.
And it's just how the brain works, how your eye works, how your life works. The interpretation of a moment is physical, of course, but it is also architectural. It's how your mind and eye works together. And that isn't even just on a physical basis. It's not just on a rod and cone basis. It's on how you choose to see the world as well. So you have the physical object in front of you. You have your physical way of doing things. Then you've got your freaky little emotions that allow you to see things that no one else can see. So if you're all bummed out and all tight and not open to the world, it doesn't matter what camera you've got or whether you're shooting black and white or color. You won't see everything in front of you if you're all tight and restricted. So with an open mind and open heart and all of that good stuff, the world just opens up more.
There you go. An open mind, open heart, open shutter, and open world. I like it. That's a good way to do it. Now, I realize that we have not done this really before at all. So I'm going to break down what the scoring is really quickly before we jump into the images. That way everyone knows. We're basing these things off of composition and technical skill, creativity and originality, relevance to the theme itself, and the artistic factor to stoke the vibe. The key, the scoring between 1 to 10, it goes from 1 to 3, which is weak, misses the mark. 4 to 6 is adequate, okay, but not memorable. 7 to 8, strong, stands out, well executed. 9, excellent, impactful, highly polished, and 10, epic, contest winning, unforgettable. This is the the scoring grades that we're going off of. First up, I have a great shot sent in from Satch, and he actually had a question here I want to touch on before we get into this. So I think we guys just answered it though. He says, would you guys say that focusing on black and white photography would be a good way for a new photographer to focus so that they can understand light, contrast, and shadow, and from there explore color once the baseline is formed? Yeah. Okay, cool. Then yes, Satch. The answer is yes, definitely. Well, let's start with his image right off the bat. We're going to add it up. I want to get first thoughts, and then we'll do the scoring afterwards. So, boom. This is the entrance from Satch. And when he sent it in, you know what? It really reminded me of like the CBC building, or like the CBC logo, just from inside a building. but I want to get your guys' first thoughts. So, Seb, what do you think? First thoughts on this image?
Sorry, what is the theme?
Black and white.
Oh, okay, that's it. That's the theme.
Yeah.
Okay.
Easy, easy. So, just thoughts on the image itself.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. The thoughts.
I can come back to you if you want to think about it for a second.
Yeah. Let me do that, please.
Pat, how about yourself?
Yeah, it's interesting. That's one of the beauty things about photography is sometimes we don't we like you get stuck in a subject, right? I thought one of the great things about doing black and white is kind of letting that subject kind of just float or whatever, right? So we're looking at like a texture shadow, these shapes, and I think it was a very interesting thing to take a shot of. Me personally, just a bit of like composition. I don't know if I would have gone a bit wider or what, but there's something about the edges that are kind of just discombobulating me a bit. I'm not saying it's wrong or right, but just for me personally, it doesn't feel, I don't know if it needs to be centered or just a slight angle tweak on the camera. But other than that, I think it's kind of cool. You got these symmetrical shapes, and that's why I think it needed to be maybe more centered or wider or something like that, because they're very symmetrical. It's like, as they come in, right? So I just feel like it had to be just tweaked just a bit, but who am I to say? But I do like it, and I like that, like the light and shadow. It's good.
I feel you. Shaun, thoughts?
A photo like this depends on your mood. Depends on how much time you've got in the day. Depends on what you've got on the table, as it were, in front of you. So if you've got the time to think about this photo, you could spend all day looking at it and still be finding things. And the reason I'm kind of with Pat to some degree, in that my initial interpretation was, man, I just wish Satch would have shifted left a little bit, maybe 4 inches, and shot down the center piece of that structure so that I could have had more of an even side to each thing. Everything would have been kind of centered to some degree. That's only if I've got 2 or 3 seconds in my day. I would have wanted him to the left. But if I've got a bit more time on my plate, I've got like 30 minutes to think about this photo, I wouldn't change a thing, because I love the cognitive dissonance. I love the fact that it's kind of irking me a little bit. It's under my skin a little bit. It's got me thinking about it a little bit. How would I do it different? How would I do it better? How would I make it worse? Would I want the background in focus, or do I like the bouquet of things right now? Is that the f-stop I would have chosen or not? Would I? There's lots of things that my mind wants to solve in this image, and that's the beauty of black and white, I find, is it will very quickly, and I mean like in split seconds, black and white is got just enough information that your mind wants to solve the puzzle. That is not the case with color, but it is the case with black and white. And so what Pat is feeling, and what I felt, and probably what Seb felt as well, is that initial bam. I see something and I'm trying to solve it, but I don't know what it is. Color doesn't make you think that way. So my initial impression is this: I like it because it gives me that cognitive dissonance.
I dig it. It is funny how the offset does kind of put you in that position to want to, like, to be there, to go, how would I change? How would I do this differently? Or how would I do this would I find that same spot interesting, or would I not? I love it. Quick comment, Ethos and Arrows. First thoughts: earthquake hazard nightmare. That's your A1 body slicer during earthquakes, 100%. Brandon Chase jumped in here, said afternoon, guys. Dave Curvin, afternoon, gents. As always, love hearing the lessons and continuing to learn from each of you. And such is awesome. Good. Seb, you got any thoughts on this now that the other boys hit it?
Yeah, I think they touched on a lot of things that I wasn't able to articulate because I had no idea why I was reacting a certain way. I really like the cross in the middle for no particular reason, but I do like the picture. It's not that I didn't like it. Is I'm looking at some of the things that perhaps for me would maybe keep my attention a little bit more, and I think that everything is, so the centerpiece is sort of in focus, everything else is out of focus, and I'm struggling with that ever so slightly. I feel like something else needs to be a little bit clearer, or something else needs to, it's just causing me to question absolutely everything about what this is, instead of seeing enough to kind of make it out, So I like that because it confuses me easily.
I dig it. I dig it. Satch says that's what I was going for. There you go. Dancy says it reminds me I haven't been to the gym in a while. Yeah, I got it. Okay, well, let's go composition, technical skill on a scale of 1 to 10. What are you guys thinking? I myself put it based on the thing. I went with a 6, I think, for the composition of it, because it does irk me that it's just not quite straight, but that's just my own
Composition is 8 for me.
8 for you. Nice. All right.
I think I was landing on a 7 there. I like the angle. I just think that one edge should just have a little more, or the other edge have a little less. And so I'll throw it at a 7.
I like it. Seb, where would you put it?
Yeah, I'll go with 6. Sounds like the right number logically. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys.
Yeah, you do.
Sash, that might be a 10. I don't know, dude. Sorry.
Sam, just screwing you over, Satch.
Creativity / originality. What do you guys think? Shaun, I'll start with you.
Creativity / originality. I'm giving it an 8.
An 8. Nice. Pat, where are you sitting?
Yeah, I give it a solid 8. I was leaning almost a 9. I'll go 8.5 actually. We'll get the back right into the 0.5s.
Just
8.5.
be that guy. He's got to throw the desk in there. I'm gonna go with an 8 as well. I think that's just a really great creative shot. Seb, where are you at?
Yep. That sounds great. I'm in 8.
Thumbs up. Relevance to the theme. It's a black and white. It's exactly what we were looking for. I mean,
8 for me.
8 for you, for Shaun.
And I should qualify that because it might become important later as we're looking at other photos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a black and white, and it's a pretty good black and white, but it could be a better black and white. And so is it really examining all the characteristics that black and white can portray? No, it isn't. It's showing a percentage of what black and white can be.
Mm.
And so if it was showing more of what black and white can be, and it's not about the composition, it's not about the subject, it's not about a lot of things. Now I'm just talking about what it could be more. And so 8.
I dig it. Pat?
I'm gonna come in at that 0.5 again with an 8.5. That's just because I always lean more towards high contrast black and white, and this definitely has the elements of a high contrast black and white.
I dig it, Seb.
8.
8. I like it. I'm in the 8 range as well. And then Stoke / vibe. What do you think? I'm going to go back down the table the other way. Seb, what right after you off the bat? Stoke.
Yeah, I actually really like that. I think I'd go 8.5 on that.
8.5. I like it. Pat, what are you thinking?
I'm coming in at a 7. I think it's an artistic shot and a unique shot, but it doesn't stoke me. I'll stare at it for a while, but it doesn't honestly stoke me that much.
Yeah, Shaun?
I'm sitting at an 8.
An 8. I like it. I'm with Pat on this one. I was going to go 7 here, and then I'm going to total this stuff up later because there's a lot of math involved in this, and we can carry on. But great shot, great submission. Any other final thoughts before we move on to the next one?
Do it.
All right. Quick comment from Satch. He says, I was confused by the image, so I used it as a submission. That's a great dig it, man. I love it. All right. Moving on to the next one. We got Jurgen put this guy in here. We're going to jump on the stage. Boom. Right here. Beauty bike. Love the light on it. First thoughts. What do you guys think, Pat?
I dig it. I'm a fan of motorcycles and I'm a fan of black and white, so I'm already digging it.
Bam. Shaun, any first thoughts?
Yeah, I like it.
Excellent. Seb, any first thoughts?
Yep, same. I'm a big motorcycle fan, and a lot of those pieces are very popping up for me, so I like it. I like the contrast.
I also really like this one. Let's jump right into the scores then. Composition, technical skill. Shaun, what are you thinking?
Well, this is the area that I'm going to mark it down a little bit. And so I find the composition a bit clustered, a bit congested, a bit busy. And if I'm going to be super duper critical, which I am going to be, because Jurgen deserves it, because he's an excellent photographer. And if he was a beginner photographer, I wouldn't give him this feedback. But he's an experienced photographer, so he's going to get it. the focus point is on the D of HRD. It's on the leading edge of D. And so that, to my eye, has the Vincent a little out of focus. And what that says to me is his bokeh or his f-stop was set up for his focus point on that leading edge of D. And then the rest kind of fades into unfocused. And so I appreciate that. I understand how f-stop works. I understand what bokeh is. But for anyone out there who has a really, really critical eye, who focuses on focus, they will only see a small area in focus there. And then the rest of it will be like, how come that's not focused? How come that screw? How come that bolt? How come that foot peg is all out of focus? So for the inexperienced viewer or photographer, there'll be technical issues, quote unquote, in this photo that they won't care for. That would be my only observation.
Right on. Pat?
I'm landing in on a 7 on this one.
7 on this one? Shaun, you never actually gave a score.
At 7 because of the congestion.
Raj. Okay.
And I'm
Oh, what do you got? Sorry, Pat, go ahead.
I was going to say some of the same things that Shaun was saying. I think that this should have been cropped in way tighter. I don't know if it had the fidelity to do so, but we're at a interesting, I'll put interesting because who am I to say is right or wrong, but we're at a very interesting crop on this. Like either you want to be more, I feel like I either want more of the bike or I want way less of the bike. Like if the D is the focus point, then maybe even a vertical cutting at the top of the tank, getting all the motor in there and kind of bringing up, a little dodge and burn to friggin' pop that out. But I think currently at the angle and the composition, I'm not a giant fan of this. Love the subject, love the subject. Yeah.
Raj, Seb, what do you think?
Yeah, 7 seems right to me. I didn't realize that the D was the focus point. I realized that the tank was the focus point, and there's a bit of glaring, of course, on the focus point per se. So for me, that was a little bit distracting. I don't know if that was intentional or if or not, and if it's right or not. I'm not even qualified to make these claims, but that's kind of what was irking me a little bit. It is a nice photo. It's not a nice photo, but there was just something about it, and that for me was it, seemingly.
Yeah, I'm tracking. I put it as 7 as well. I was struggling with the reflection on the tank and the parts of the bike. So like everyone's saying, cropping it down to just the tank or just the top tank and top of the engine kind of thing, that would be my focus on it. Got a couple of comments here. Ethos Nera says, this soothes my brain immediately. I love the business of the photo. It's what makes it. And then says, I love the bottom left is somewhat blank. It'd be a place where I could easily put my thumb and hold the photo without missing much. That's great. Just down there by the peg. I like it.
Do you know what the real issue with this photo is for me? Is a photographer can fall in love with his tool. And so if you've got a really good lens that has an f-stop or a bokeh that will allow things to fade back like that, or people would think of it, focus falls off until it's hard. What's in the back left corner there? I don't know. It's kind of blurry, so I can put my thumb on it and hold the photo up. A photographer can fall in love with that tool. And so for a casual observer, that bokeh or that drop off of focus is confusing and sometimes like uncool. And so, but as photographers, you can fall in love with that tool too much. And so this photography or this photo feels to me like someone fell in love with their bokeh and wasn't tightly focused on what they were trying to put across as the subject. And I know that's super freaking harsh, Jurgen, but I'm just saying that's what I'm picking up on that one.
Well, he jumps in here and said, Bratworks, great points. I should have worn my glasses to get better fidelity on the focus. There you go. I mean, if you have glasses, you probably should wear them. That's what I'm going to say. Taking shots. Creativity, originality. What are we thinking? I'm going to start with Seb. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough when you start with me because I have no idea where it should be. But
that's why I do it.
Yeah, okay. I can say anything, I don't know. For me, I would say, I don't know, maybe I don't know, 6.5 maybe or something. I don't know. That's what comes across for me. I would have loved to see a little bit cognitive dissonance between the background and the bike, so make it the focus point or have these other bikes in the back. I don't know, it's just there's something that's a little off for me that I don't fully appreciate.
I dig it. Pat, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm coming in at a 7 on this one, and it's just again basically comes down to the cropping. Like I don't know if there's either too much too much information in the frame or not enough information in the frame. It's throwing me off based on that focus point and what we're looking at. And I even just for a quick second, I just did a screen capture to look like what it would look like as a cropped vertical with just the pipes and the tank and all that in there. And I think that's what I would have done personally. But yeah, that's where I'm landing.
There you go. Shaun, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm sticking to a 6 simply because of the precisely what Pat just said, and the bokeh I just feel like isn't working for it in this photo.
Bam. I threw down a 6 as well. Relevance. This is an interesting one. I like the way Shaun put it and whether or not it is truly what black and white can do. And so I'm going to hit Pat first. What do you think on relevance?
I mean, it's an 8. It's black and white. Where all those silver tones and all that stuff like that go really well with black and white. With more experience, I think this could be a much stronger photo. Again, cropped. Again, dodged and burned differently, creating more dark in the background. It's too bright in the background, in my opinion. Too dark in the foreground. But that's personally just my opinion.
I dig it. Shaun, what do you think?
Same for me.
All right, 8 it is. I put it down as a 7. Seb, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go with the boys. I'll do 8 as well.
All right, I dig it. Stoke, dun dun dun. The vibe, the artistic factor. Shaun, what do you think?
I want to be stoked, but I'm not. So it's a 7.
7. All right. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I come in the same way. I want to be super stoked. Motorcycles, black and white, but it's just not hitting me hard enough.
Yep. I'm at a 6 myself. Seb, where are you sitting?
I'll stick around with my previous statement. I'll go 7.5. I'm still liking this photo.
7.5. I dig it. I will be getting totals out. Don't worry at the end as I do math while we carry on. This is a great first step. Here we got another one sent in by one of the boys, Jared Hernandez. He's actually in the military right now. Bam. Here it is. The old bison in the field. That is a great shot. I really dig it. First thoughts. What do you think, Shaun?
Well, sadly, my critical eye kicked in before my appreciative eye. And so, I just want to hang out with the troops, feel the vibe, love on this image. But sadly, my critical eye kicked in. And so I feel like the cropping is just a bit off. And I feel like the image is a bit flat. It's a bit 2-dimensional, not 3-dimensional. And, I think that's an issue of maybe the lighting that day was a bit dull or overcast, or there's something going on there with the lighting, but also the contrast and some of the other factors that you can play with in black and white just aren't giving it that dimensionality that I appreciate. And so I want to be super stoked, but I'm just feeling like it's a touch flat. My number, I guess I'm going to give it a 7 for composition.
Okay.
It should be a 6.5, but because I love the troops, it's a 7.
All right. The troops get it an extra half mark. I like. Pat, what do you think?
Composition's not killing me. Yeah, and I don't know if this will be further down the road. It probably will be, but that the immediate thing that my brain went to is I've seen the bison for about 0.2 of a second, and then my eye just honed in on that pylon, just locked on it, and I can't not unlock my eye from the freaking pylon. It's a photo contest. I'm not being a jerk here, but man, move the angle and take that freaking pylon out if you're gonna there's a difference between a snapshot and a photograph in my eyes, and that's where I know you hear me talk about that sometimes. There's a difference between a memory and a photo that is gonna be in on a wall somewhere. And and that pylon is just killing me. But the composition wise, I'll give it a 7. I don't mind. It kind of landed right in the middle. Now remember, like on horizons, be careful of that. It works for this image enough that it makes it a good photo. But remember your horizons. For the most part, you want to use your thirds for horizons, right? So we either want that horizon lower or we want it higher. I'm not saying it's wrong or right for this image, but I think it would have made it more powerful.
Yeah. I was thinking something similar. The crop is what's kind of killing me. The amount of sky, because I saw the bison, and then I just get like tossed up into the sky. There's almost too much of it. I think I would have personally cropped it right at where the bottom of the tree is there, so you'd still get the antenna stands, you'd still get some of the sky, but the horizon would be in the top third rather than in kind of dead center. Kind of flattens that picture out in my mind. I gave it a 6. Seb, what are you thinking?
Yeah, just to echo what Pat was saying, the very first thing I saw was the pylon, and for me, it kind of took a potential operational photo to an administrative, and to an admin move photo, and I don't know, that kind of took a little bit of fire out of it. The crop was the second thing that kind of hit me was how far, say, the vehicle is from the edge of the photo, and how much of that is ground with, that's, I don't know, for me is creating a bit of a distraction. And then finally the back where the vehicle is actually cut, or the canister is cut, that to me was like kind of like cutting the feet of somebody when you're taking a photo, like a body shot or something. It created a weird distraction that made it look like the person accidentally took the picture in that position versus did it willfully. And so I'm a 6.5 as well on that. I won't get too technical because I can't.
Well, you just did, because like Pat harps on that all the time about cropping off hands or cropping off feet.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to be intentional about your cropping. And so, this looks like it wasn't an intentional crop, or it looks like it wasn't an intentional position where the person stood. In fact, I'm going to counter what you guys were saying about the pylon, not because I want to be mean-spirited, but I just want to throw a bit of a cognitive twist into this. When I saw the pylon, this is what it did for me. I immediately dropped into the boots of the person who's taken the photo, and I put my mind in the fact that I probably got a coffee cup in one hand and my camera in the other, and this is just a quick admin break. Like, I stepped away from the vehicle to take a photo of the shoot line or whatever we've got set up, and then I'm going to saunter back with my coffee cup in my hand and talk to the troops in the back of the vehicle. And so it actually put me more in the photo than out of the photo, because I can see myself in the photo as a young buck stepping off to the side to get a quick photo. Do you feel me?
No.
I dig it. There is it does it familiarizes yourself with the photographer rather than just looking at the photo as a separate thing, which I dig. I dig it. Creativity, originality. What do we got, Shaun?
Well, I would have liked to have seen more from this photo, so I'm going to give it a 7.
7. All right. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, I'm landing in 7 as well.
7. All right. I went to 6 on myself because it's a bit of a snapshot. It's not really a well developed intentional shot. Seb, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll strike in the middle, 6.5.
6.5. Sitting on the fence. I like it.
Well, it's the safest place for me to be without screwing somebody over too badly.
Yeah. And to be fair, Jared's got another submission in here, and we're going to get to that one as well, which I kind of prefer that one, but I wanted to make sure that we cover them all. Relevance. What do you guys think? Shaun, I need you first.
I'm going to give it an 8. It is a fair and a good attempt at black and white photography. And so, he had to think about this, and he had to put it in thoughtfully into the contest. So it's not like a half color and a half black and white. 8.
All right. I dig it. Pat?
Yeah, I'll throw an 8 in there. Like, there's some really good things about, that work well with black and white. I like the negative space of the white sky behind the vehicle, and then contrasting with the texture in the foreground of the gravel and all that stuff. And he didn't over muddy didn't go too crazy. with contrast or anything like that. It lands right in the middle. And I don't know why, and it could just be me, a nostalgic thing. But military photos in black and white, modern or old, just I don't know, they just hit different for me.
I take it. Seb, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go 8 also. I think it has a lot of black and white relevance. It also has a lot of timely relevance with the world today. So, all timely.
A couple quick comments. Brat Works jumped in here. You guys rock. Your feedback is fantastic in reference to Jurgen's photos. Ethan Sneros jumped in. He said, initial thoughts, I want this to be a World War I photo, but it's not. And then give me the green for sure. Yeah, the pylon. That is definitely an issue. All right, let's carry on here. Stoke, what do you think? Seb, I'm going to hit you first.
Yeah, military photo, like good sort of environment, so to speak. So I'm probably a 7.5 on that.
So on the Stoke factor, I
Yeah.
like it. Pat, how about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll say 7. I'll be decisive and be 7. I kind of want to be an 8. Kind of want to be a 7.5. That pylon was out of the way. I'd have way more stoke for this friggin' shot. Because I mean, even if you are that dude with your coffee and your camera, again, is it a snapshot or a photo? If I want it to be a photo and I want to be, and I'll put it in air quotes, cool, the pylon gets just pulled out of frame. It's like, move it out of the way, take the shot, move my pylon back. It's an animation, but obviously you had time to do that. So you gotta move the, no, I'll stop.
This is the equivalent of the guy taking a picture with his gun without a mag in.
Right? Yeah, same deal. Got to look cool, but not quite. Shaun, Stoke factor?
And that's the thing I've been struggling with right from the get-go, because we have all been next to that vehicle or next to a vehicle very similar to it, and we all know what that moment is capable of. We all know what it can represent. And so the moment you see that, you build out this image against a contrast or a context of something that you have established as, remember that one wild time that we were standing next to ... So you're comparing it against something that was probably live rounds downrange. And that's not what this is. And I kind of feel like I'm robbed a bit. But it's only because I've put my own interpretation, my own projection of what I wanted on top of what is already existent. I should be happy with the photo, but for some reason I'm not stoked about it because I know what it could be doing. And that is the problem with experience and photography. If I was just a noob who didn't know anything about anything, I'd be pumped for this, but that isn't the case. And so who is the photographer shooting it for? Are they shooting it for their family member who knows nothing? Are they shooting it for their peers who obviously know everything about this? Are they shooting it for themselves so they can look back on it 20 years from now? These are the kind of things that I'm curious about. So that's an aside. I'll say that this is a 7. I wish it was an 8.
Bam. I dig it. Yep, I put down a 7. I think that's a great way to look at it. Nick, we're going to go into his second submission right now, so it'll be just a quick switch over here anyway, but I think this is probably the better of the two. I really dig this one. Yeah. This is just great. Great horizons. Definitely, I love the cement pad as well with the ammo boxes or the boxes in the front there. It's just, I really dig this photo. I think it's great. Initial thoughts, Pat, what do you think?
Why did you even bother submitting the other one? Not to be a dick. I'm sorry. Why? Like this is a much better shot. I wouldn't even have, and sometimes, and I don't know if we need to be more decisive with that for submissions, but yeah, go with the stronger shot. And I don't know if that was a great contrast to be like, oh, this is a better shot, but it is a better shot. It's a better shot all around. I would like to see a little bit more of the carrier on the right. But otherwise, yeah, I love the foreground. And even though there's some like equipment cut off at the bottom edge, I'm kind of cool with that. It's slightly off canter. Like watch your horizon lines. I'm not going to like cut this photo down for that, but watch those horizon lines. This is definitely tilted. And you lost a bit of that right side. I think I would have wanted to see some more space on that right side, but overall, it's pretty rad.
Yeah, it's a good point because you can just see the front end of the lav on the left side, but you can't see the one on the right. And it might just that little bit of a shift to cut that one out and keep this one in. I agree with you. Shaun, initial thoughts?
Yeah, I really like it. There's a lot of things in here that I wouldn't change, but there are some things I would change, and that's why my mind is battling with this image right now. And Pat's already raised a few of them, but honestly, the thing that's bugging me the most, and you didn't mention it, Pat, it is, of course, there's a off kilter or off camber horizontal aspect, but if you look at the vehicles, specifically the tires, it almost feels like the image is being pulled this way as well. And so we've got like a horizontal, but then we've got like on a 360, it almost feels like the image is tilted from the top of the image towards the viewer. And so there's almost a little bit of distortion on those vehicles to my eye. And I don't know if that's a photograph artifact. I don't know if that's an artifact of the processing or if the individual actually was skewing that image in order to achieve something, cropping or something. I don't know what they did. But again, to my eye, it looks like there's a little bit of distortion on those armored fighting vehicles. So if not for that, I would be all over loving this photo, but there's something there that's bugging my eye. I'd love to hear from the photographer if you get a chance to reach out to them and see if they just skewed that somehow. Anyway, that's the thing that's bugging my eye. But overall, I love this photo.
I was wondering what that was because it does feel that little bit of a distortion. I've been seeing it, but I didn't know how to like describe it. It just does. It feels, now that you mention it, it does feel like vertically tilted as well as horizontally tilted. That's Seb, you got any first thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's really nice. The first thing that caught my mind, for whatever reason, aside from the vehicle, which is the obvious plot of resistance, so to speak, it was the striation on the tarmac and how many times you're in a. It seems like the picture, of course, is taken from inside the hangar or something like that, right? And with the color scheme and the way that it goes dark to lighter, and then the few tools on the ground, which normally would be where your equipment would be if you were inside a building looking outside. So to me, that's what that represented. So it's loaded with history, of course. So I really like that. I like the fact that there was a difference in, again, feeding into that same thought, which is you have the concrete going all the way, and then it looks like it's either raining or something. There's a reflection off the pavement that makes it look like there's a mirror, and then it leads your eyes up on the right side, which again, we're cutting the vehicle, and I think that Pat already mentioned that, so I won't harp on that, but I would have loved to have seen the other vehicle not being in there, even with the garage door not being in there on the left, and then move it right to the back and having the front of the other piece. And then at the top, there's, if you pay attention, there's a sort of a bit of a nuance in the skyline, which is nowhere near on the left side or the middle, which is cool, because it brings a bit of depth to the picture, as in it's not just a flat background, as you could do electronically, put a flat background, but there is actually life there, So I really like it personally.
I love the dudes as well. Just the three troops just sitting there, and it's not like really, you don't see all the people that are involved in something like this for sure, but to have those three guys just right bang, and I really dig this photo a lot. I got a couple comments on this.
So just for any photographers out there, this photo could have been taken a bajillion ways. So where the person is standing and shooting towards those three individuals as the photographer, if he stepped just one step to the left, those three vehicles would have obscured the ramp on that lead vehicle.
Yep.
And if that was the case, my eye wouldn't have seen that ramp is touching the ground, whereas the other two ramps are not touching the ground. And so my pattern observing eye wonders who I've got to jack up right now for not having all three ramps aligned.
Yep.
Or that's the way my mind works. It's not that I'm looking to create someone trouble. My eye looks for patterns. And if that photographer is either thoughtless and doesn't see these kind of things, or is thoughtful and does see these kind of things, that's what I appreciate. I appreciate what the photographer does and doesn't know about what they're shooting. And so I always want to, after the fact, talk to the photographer and say, why did you do this? Did you knowingly choose to not obscure that first ramp? Those are the things that I'm interested in.
I like that. We got a couple comments here. Ethos Neros jumped and said, "No, make it straighter." The 3D tilt towards the viewer, I think, is what makes the best part of the photo. To be honest, I just can't handle the horizon not being straight. That's a good point. We got Ghost jumps in here and says, "I like the lines leading away from the photographer in the concrete and the fact that the vehicles appear to be in a loop, cut off at the front but continues on the left." That's interesting. I didn't even think about that. Dan C jumps in here. It's got a calm before the storm feel to it, which I totally agree with. And the ammo boxes are accidentally lined up with the lines in the concrete. Yeah, I dig it. I dig it. All right, well, let's get into the actual judging here. Shaun, I'm going to hit you first. Composition, technical skill. What do you think?
I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8. I like it. Pat, how about yourself?
Yeah, I'll give it an 8 as well. I mean, that horizon line does kind of irk me. I did think about the loop thing though before, probably around the same time that Ghost may have said it, and then I was thinking about it some more. Like either have that more gap on the one side, or even chop that the one vehicle a little more and show a little bit more of the front of the other vehicle, so your brain does have that consistent, circular loop. But yeah, I'll give it an 8. I like it. Horizon's bad though. Check yourself.
I'm also at 8, and the one ramp down got me as well, Shaun, because when I was in, at least, you never let your ramps touch the ground. Period. So, Seb, what do you got?
Same. 8, baby.
8. I like it.
I like this photo.
Creativity, originality. Let's go down the panel one more time, Shaun. What do you got?
I just want to bounce off of something there when Seb said, "I like this photo." When we started the competition, half an hour ago, or I guess an hour ago, Seb was less keen to kind of make like his personal likes and dislikes as clear. Now he's more comfortable in quote unquote the judging role because now he understands how we do this. I love that because now we're all calibrated on what we're doing, but Seb feels comfortable enough to make choices. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You've with any competition that we've done, myself included, anytime we're starting judging, I've got to relax into what we're doing. And we're not trying to tear anyone apart. We're just looking for what we like as an individual. And so once you can relax into this is what I like and the guys like other things and we're all talking about a singular moment, well, then you can start kind of cherry picking, being a little more critical about what you really do like in something, what you don't like in something, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay to really like something and not like something. That's my only point.
No, I dig it. I think that's awesome. Well, while I got you, what's your score for creativity, originality?
8.
8. Bam. Pat?
Yeah, I'll throw it down an 8. I like that. It's it's a good shot. It was a good time to take a photo, with the guys, everything. It was good. It was good.
I'm going to give it a 9 on creativity because we've all been in those positions, but to really stop and go, man, this is going to be a great shot, takes that extra little bit of effort, I think. And Seb, what do you think?
Part of me wants to give him a 2 because he was doing that when everybody else was working, but I'll give it a 9 too.
I like it. You got to choose slash 9. Get back to work. I love it. Relevance, Shaun, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely relevant. I'm going to give it an 8 again.
All right. Shaun's on an 8 roll. Pat, what do you think?
I get an 8.5. It's again, but that's because I might be a bit of a sucker for military photos in black and white. I like it. Yeah, I like the textures. I like the reflections. I like all of it. It's well exposed. It's well contrasted. It's a nice dark foreground. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I go with a 9. Again, I am a sucker for military photos though, and I just really dig this. Seb, what do you think?
8.5. That's what I had.
Yeah, I like it. And then Stoke / vibe. Shaun?
Don't kill the messenger. I'm going to give it a 7.
All right.
And I want to give it more because there's a whole pile of things in this that are really working for me. But if I'm being honest, it's not stoking me up because it just feels like an admin run. It just feels like it's a inspection almost. It almost feels admin, not go time. And so Dan C had said the calm before the storm. I don't see that at all. I see kind of a casual sort of inspection. That's what I feel. I don't feel like in 2 minutes they're going out the door to kick that ass. So I don't see calm before the storm at all. I almost see the regimental sergeant major walking around the corner with a pay stick about to do an inspection. That's the vibe I get. Don't ask me why I get that vibe, but it doesn't feel like a go time vibe. So I'm giving it a 7.
It does kind of have a road move vibe to it. Like we're going to go from this base to that base and we're just going to be chilling. Pat, you got any thoughts?
I'll give it a solid 8. I like it. I think you can put yourself in any mode of this. This could be an opening scene to a movie, even. I dig it. I dig it. I mean, right away, it gave me a vibe. Actually, I'm going to go 8.5. I'm going to go 8.5.
I dig it. I put it 8 down myself. Seb, what are you thinking?
I'm going to give it a 9, and I'm going to Sean's comment, I say if you put a pylon in there, it would definitely be an admin move. But the fact that the wheels are so dirty and everything is so dirty, it looks like something happened or is about to.
I hadn't even thought about that. This could be the just coming back in from the field. Okay, now we're gonna do all our post extras, clean everything up, take everything off, but just before everything kind of started. That's a great point. Dan C says, I was a sailor. What do I know? Yeah, I'm with you on that one. All right. I feel you. Next up, we got Dan Cameron throwing this guy down, which is a great shot. This is a work of his own carving, too, so I'm digging it. Any first thoughts? Seb, I'm going to hit you first.
Yeah, I really like it, and I don't know exactly why, aside from the fact that whether it's a dog or a wolf or whatever this is, I like that, and I like the contrasting of the real blur in the back and the sort of really clear items in the front for me, and the texture on all the material, the wood and the sandpaper, whatever that is. I don't know. There's something really rich about it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I do love the textures throughout all of it. You got the texture on the carving, texture on the table, texture on the files, texture on, like, there's just so much to feel. Pat, first thoughts?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. There's gonna be some really because I've seen some of the other submissions, and so and I didn't see this one yet, and I dig it. The subject separation, depth of field, all that is the composition's good. Having the carving off to the left, giving some space, even the angle of the file, the table texture. Yeah, it kind of really nailed this. It was pretty good. I like it.
Dig it. Shaun, what do you think?
This is what I love about black and white photography, and the guys have already said it. I don't know what it is about this photo, but there's a texture to it. Well, that's what that one visual pathway does instantly, is your black and white pathway looks for texture as well as contrast. And so that's why when you're out in the bush and you're looking for shape, size, silhouette, spacing, all of the different things that you're tracking motion, you're looking for someone, texture is something that your eye picks up extremely well. And so if when you looked at this photo, you instantly recognize texture, that's your black and white pathway kicking off. And so then you notice texture contrast, again, black and white pathway kicking off. Color just doesn't show texture the same way that black and white, pure black and white does. And so to me, this is the epitome of what black and white photography can be. Of course, I'm not saying that this is the best B&W photo we'll see today or I've ever seen, but it captures or it represents a lot of the important characteristics of B&W photos. So I love it, and I'm going to give it a 9.
Bam, 9 right off the bat. Pat, what do you think?
Yeah, I can give it a solid 9 for sure.
Solid 9.
The more I look at it, the more it's amazing, because like even though it's a carving, I'm like, where's that dog looking? What is he looking at? Is he looking at? You know what I mean? It's like it's got no legs and it's a carving, but it still comes to life to me.
Yeah. I also went with a 9. Seb, how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, dude, I'm doing 9 too, and it's funny that Patzer should say that because I was thinking that Doug's an amputee, and that's why he's got a sad look on his face. But all joking aside, it's almost like that dog is alive. In a weird way, and of course would be in a very sort of creepy way. But it comes alive in whatever angle you're not seeing inside the eye, you're not seeing it fake. Another piece I picked up on just to add to this was on the right side. There's sort of a almost like a kaleidoscope type, like vibe to it, on the right side, where in the back you have the bottles and it looks kind of flat and blurry, whereas the other one is almost as if it was in motion. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it's almost creating this contrast or this colliding of two universe, so to speak. I
Yeah,
really like
I
it.
see it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Chaotic on one side, orderly on the other. Yeah. I dig it. A couple comments here. Ethos Naros jumped in. The wolf shot is just perfect. Ghost says, I like the visual textures of the wood. The photo feels like lived in and comfortable, like old leather, which I agree with for sure. And then Dan C says, it's a powwow, or there it is. It's a powwow grand entry staff. I've been carving for my brother, my first carving, and I'm learning by YouTube. Man, I dig it. I dig it. Creativity, originality. Pat, what are you thinking? I'm going to hit you first.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. There's a part of my brain was trying to like mark it down, but I can't. So yeah.
Boom. I like it. Shaun, what do you think?
I'm going to give it an 8. And this will seem harsh, but I don't find it overly creative. I feel like it's a moment in the day that Dan captured extremely well, but it wasn't overly creative. It was a good capture. His eye captured a moment really well. I don't find it overly creative, so an 8.
All right. I dig it. Seb, what are you thinking? You got to unmute yourself, though.
I'm going to give it a 10. I disagree. I disagree with that a bit. I think that if all of the things that we are seeing are willful, there's a ton of creativity in there, including the colliding of the two worlds in the back, and the way that things are illumined or not, or angles or texture, or like that's an epic shot to me.
I dig it. I like it. Satch in Motion really likes it. It says the wolf shot is legit. I'm going to fill in that word for him there. I'm going to go with a 9 myself. I really like the originality. I think it's to be able to stop in the middle of your own work and be able to take a shot of it takes the mind a moment to reset and go like, oh, I'm working. Wait, hold on a second. I got to be a photographer, and to be able to make that switch to me, I think would put him at a 9. Relevance. What do you think, Pat? I'm going to hit you first.
Well, relevance, yeah, it's a 9. I really dig the shot. Like this could be like the cover of like a Lee Valley magazine kind of thing, like catalog. You know what I mean? Or a shot within it for one of those things. And I don't know if like the tools were purposely laid in which they are, but like it's just there's just so many good elements, and like they have a nice highlight, like almost close to blown out highlight in the foreground with the dark fall off in the background. Everything just kind of lines up well.
Yeah. Shaun, what do you think?
If it's an intentional photo, pause for effect, then yes, it's a 9. But if it was a lucky photo, that's a whole different conversation. And so let's not forget for a moment that as we're patting Dan on the back for this excellent photo, anyone could take this photo, luckily. Don't be confused. No one should be confused about photos like this. Anyone can take a photo like this through sheer luck and not understand how they got the photo. I'm not suggesting that that's what is the case with Dan C. But don't forget that, please. The most randomest rando on the sidewalk can luckily take a photo like this once in their life, perhaps. But I feel that this was an intentional photo. I am curious to hear from Dan, hopefully, as to whether that rasp or that tool in the foreground on the right-hand side, whether he placed that in for the photo or whether this photo was undisturbed. He just simply took a photo. I'd love to hear way more about this photo. So for me, this competition is never about judging a photo. It's about learning about the photographer and why they took the photo the way they did. So hopefully we'll hear back from Dan.
It's this up right away. I did place the tools, sandpaper, and adjusted the lighting. So this was an intentional photo in my book, and I dig it. So if it is such an intentional photo, Shaun, are you still good with a 9?
Yeah, well, that raises a whole different subject, which we don't have time to talk about on the podcast. But I love the fact that that's what he did, and I'm just going to keep things simple, and I'm going to give it a 9.
9, I like it. Seb, how about yourself? Relevance.
Yeah, 9.5 for sure.
9.5. I dig it. I'm also in a 9. Stoke/vibe. What do you think, Seb? I'll come right back to you.
I love this shot. I really do.
All right. What are you gonna mark?
Well,
that?
I'd say 9.5. How about
9.5. I like it. I'm gonna go with an 8 myself. I think it's a great shot. But there's just it doesn't really stoke me. I think it's a beautiful shot, but I wouldn't consider myself stoked. Pat, what do you think? Oh, I got you muted. Hold on, sorry. There you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8.5. I mean, this thing is so well. I think this is like really well. I think it almost makes me want to take up, some wood carving. I'm like, this is kind of cool. I dig it.
Carving is incredibly meditative, and then it is also incredibly frustrating at the same time. So it is one of those things. Shaun, stoke value. What do you think?
9. I love this photo.
Beauty. I like it. All right. So we are a little bit over, just about halfway here, and we're going to carry on. Here we go. Corbin Bobby dropped this guy in, and it's another great shot. Really love the contrasts. It's it's bright, but the darkness of certain sections really pops, which I just love. First thoughts, Pat? What do you think?
Dig it. Love this. The vibe of it. The kind of silver tone, kind of like black and white kind of, I guess, treatment to it. Again, and I'm always harping on it, but there's something about the cropping, especially with an architectural photo, in the sense, like, we are looking at a house here. So the one thing that you can't easily do a lot of times is make all those vertical lines vertical, but that can aid or wreck a photo. But the crop does bother me.
I feel you. Seb, some thoughts?
Yeah. There's a lot of bodies on that photo, a lot of aliens or skeletons or something. It gives me a real Amityville House of Horror type feel, which I really, really like. I really dig the house. I really dig the contrast. Just like Pat, I'm a fan of the crop being a little bit different, and especially that it seems to be that the picture, and I could be wrong here, guys, but this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that the picture seems to have been taken from the lower, from lower facing up, so to speak. And if that's the case, then it would have been nice to have the two sides really showing, because it's a beauty of an angle, but it just makes it a little constricted. But yeah, I like it overall. I like the textured grass. I like the texture on the lichen that's growing on the house. The depth of the windows, it's almost like you can see someone in there, maybe, or at least you expect somebody to show up in there, or something. Yeah, I like it.
Shaun, what are you thinking?
Very similar to the fellas. I do love the silver effect that we've got going on there as a tone. And the composition is bugging my eye. This is for anyone out there. I make this mistake myself on a pretty regular basis. And it's not because I don't know better. It's just that sometimes I get a bit, I don't want to say lazy, but I don't do as well as I could with a photo. So in this instance, it looks to me like someone is left of center, and it almost looks like they're squatting down, or they're on the bottom side of a hill shooting up. And that's why the house kind of looks like it's falling away from you, and it kind of looks like it's on a touch of an angle. And so That's okay if that's what you're trying to capture. And there's times when capturing things like that is good. But oftentimes, architecturally, it's better if you're centered, and it's better if you're standing up at a height where the image presents as flat to you so that you can capture the lines correctly. But architectural photography has its own challenges, and it feels like this photo wasn't shot with an architectural mind in mind. And so that's why it looks a touch off. But those are easy things to fix. It just means you've got to move your feet a little bit. You've got to move your hands a little bit. And just moving your hands, just a touch, even just a few inches, can make all the difference when it comes to architectural. That's just something to think about. Overall, I like the photo. And basically my comments are the same as the fellas.
Raj, I like it. We got some good comments on it right here. Actually, before that, Sacha Motion jumped in. He said he loved the table in the foreground from the previous photo, and I agree 100%. Dan C on this one says, reminds me of my grandparents' homestead. With he says without the bodies though. Yes, for sure. Ethos Nera says my brain is trying to think if it's aligned horizon only or not. I'm thinking about that and not the photo, which is or horizontally, he says. Ghost says, feels ashamed to have so many corners and angles in the main photo, but have the bottom corners of the house cut off. Yeah, I dig that. I kind of like the fact that it's low and tilted backwards, so like it does have you kind of falling into the falling away from the image, so the house almost feels like it's lifting away. And the bodies, I actually kind of dig. I like that a lot.
So, Chance, you do like it. Some people won't like it, but the important part as a photographer, not as a viewer, but as the person who is learning how to take photos or trying to get better at photography, it's important that you make mistakes like this or you make intentional choices like this. And so you learn that you don't like it, or you learn that it's your style and you like that style. And so these photos are opportunities for you to be more discriminating on which direction you're going to take your photography. So if you hear our comments and you think, no, I like this angle, then freaking pursue your angle in the future and get really good at it and have fun with it. But if you yourself as the photographer didn't know why it just felt a bit off, and you're hearing that architecturally things are just a bit different when you shoot photos, then dig into that, learn more about architectural photography. But if you like shooting buildings, get good at it by making mistakes and then fixing them through education.
Yeah, I'm down on that. I think for me personally, maybe it is just the fact that I'm used to seeing the world top down, being a taller person. So like I'm usually looking down on things, and I like the lower angles upwards personally. So I think I might dive into that a little bit more. That's awesome. Shaun, while I got you, what do you think composition technical skill?
7.
Pat, where you at?
Yeah, I'm gonna be in there too, and mainly because of the crop. It's not so much the angle because it's like supposed to be like a haunted house, or kind of like give you that Amityville kind of look. But yeah, the crop is kind of killing me a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna go with an 8 myself. Seb, what do you think?
Yeah, I had a here for the crop for the exact same reason. And just one thing I wanted to bring up is, as we're watching this picture, it almost gives you the angle that we're running away from it, which I assume is exactly what would happen.
I was kind of thinking of it like the house was making me faint, and this is like the last image I have as I'm falling backwards. Like, oh no.
Hey, listen, Seb came on the show and he was talking about how like he might not be a great judge, or he doesn't have a lot of photography or whatever. But we got to get him back on as a regular just for the comedic relief, or right, for the observations that are adding a little bit of levity to this. That's for sure.
A little bit of levity. I love it. Tyler jumped in here. He says, love the black and white old farmhouse. Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Although I didn't see a photo from you.
Right? Yeah.
Creativity and originality on this one. Pat, what do you think?
I give it an 8. I mean, the creative end was there. Like it's I doubt that the house was turned into this haunted scene for the photo, yet there was effort to make the house into this haunted scene and to take a picture of it to kind of give it that horror movie kind of vibe, poster kind of feel.
I put down 8 myself. Seb, what do you think?
8.5.
8.5 from the Seb Nader. I like it. Sean, where are you at?
Sorry, the category is what now?
Creativity, originality.
All right, sorry. 8.
8. Bam. All right. Relevance. Sean, I'm going to come right back to you.
Yeah, funnily enough, not only is it relevant, but I'm actually going to bump this up to a 9. And the reason I like it, whether the photographer intentionally did this or not, I love how they captured the textural aspects of the building. Like when you look at the just above the door, the arc or the peak roof, when you look at that wood facing, I mean, there's just beautiful textural detail there, and time worn, and like there's history there. It's telling me a story through the texture of the image, and so, man, I love it. So 9.
I take it. Pat, what are you thinking?
I mean, I'm gonna give it an 8. I like the silver tone. To be honest, there could have been a little bit of work with some dodging and burning here. I find it almost uneventful with the textures because I feel that they all, even though they are different, everything from the grass to the top of the roof just kind of feels the same to me.
I feel you. Seb, what do you think?
Yeah, 8.5 for me. I like the textures and I find them detailed enough to be worthy of mention, but I also, just like Pat, they kind of they bleed into each other, so to speak, you know.
I gave it an 8. One of the things that kind of trips me out is the skeleton on the left, down in the foreground there. It's a bit washed out. It feels,
It's a bit blown out.
yeah. So there's just too much, I think, in that one. But
Just need to bring down the highlights.
mhm.
But then that said, if you're going to start playing around with those kind of things, then I'm going to play with the sky. I'm going to bring out more contrast in the sky, and then like how deep do you go, and then how inauthentic is the image, and like that's a whole different podcast, of course.
Well, we did a whole podcast on that.
That's true. I was hoping Pat would jump in on that, but he didn't.
Well, I'll tell you, you show me one photo from
Here we
any
go.
point where it has not been manipulated in some way in the
Agreed.
Lightroom with developer
Agreed.
or anything. I think, we do end up on, and I won't say a cynical route, and I'm not saying that you are at all, but I do hear other photographers is like, oh, well, you edited it. Yeah, okay. I did on purpose. There was a reason I did. So,
Well, there's an
Listen,
intentionality.
it is a actual relevant theme right now, like in the modern photography world. In fact, just yesterday, I was watching a review by Petapixel on the latest, greatest Samsung Galaxy S26, its camera suite, and how artificial intelligence is heavily involved in this particular release of the Samsung phones, the Ultra. And so the host, it was about a 15-minute long video, was very careful to position the opinion of Petapixel or of the brand in regards to not throwing AI and photography under the bus, but at the same time being on the right side of history, saying that, listen, there's only so much AI you can use. There's only so much tweaking you can do to a photo. There's only so much artificiality you can present when you're manipulating an image. And so today we are at an inflection point in photography where the decisions you make on how you adjust a photo are way different than the decisions you made just 20 years ago. So it is a real thing.
it is. I mean, not to dive down this rabbit hole too fast, but I completely agree. It creating a photo when you were doing this as like an art form, it can be very subjective, but can also be very easily manipulated. And I think that's a big difference, right? Being between manipulated and being adjusted, right? So, like, if you look at, what I really love looking at is the Reuters kind of top 100 photos of the year. And those are all photojournalistic photos. So they cannot be manipulated due to ethics, right? We can't Photoshop things out or put things in or manipulate them. The only thing that's been changed is slider work, particular, like, how it was lit when it was shot, things like that. And some of those images are just so brutally amazing and humbling. But you can see that they are adjusted, not manipulated, and I think that could be a defining line in the thing.
Yeah, I think this is great. We we may not have enough time to go through all the photos today because we're at about an hour and a half right now. But you got to unmute yourself, Sean.
My apologies. I didn't want to start that little rabbit
No, it's all good.
trail, but
We've gone down a few rabbit holes, which I think is great for the fact that what we're trying to do here is expand people's knowledge on photography, right? So I think this is fantastic. We did not get to Stoke vibe on this photo though. So what do you think, Sean?
I like it, man. I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5. I like it. Pat, what about yourself?
8.
8. Seb, where are you at?
I'm an 8 too.
I am also at an 8. I like it. All right. Let's jump forward. Corbin Bobby's got another submission, but we're going to get into some of the other people's submissions so we're not harping too much on any one person. We got this one in. The only name I got for it was BK, and it came in on the website. And I think it's pretty cool, gotta say. I like the contrasts on it, and we'll go from there. Sean, looks like you got something in your...
Well, I mean, my initial impression was, man, I really like the silhouette. I really like the contrast. I love the black versus the white, as it were. What is throwing me off is, I don't know what this was taken with. Maybe I'll say a phone, but the processing, it looks like it was heavily software processed to add maybe too much contrast, and that's why, as you can see, the silhouette of the individual, there's a silhouette around him. It's almost like an aura.
Yeah.
And that is just like hyper contrast, hyper sharpening, hyper, like too much slider work, too much post processing work. So they went a bit heavy on the post processing, maybe to draw out the Canada flag, maybe to draw out different things, but it was heavy software touch. So if they could have like got a grip on that, I would have really liked this photo, but then the photo wouldn't have looked as good as it does. So there's the dilemma. My opinion is I'm going to give this a 7.5.
7.5. I dig it. All right. Pat, I'm going to come to you. What do you got?
Yeah, I feel I'll echo a lot of things that Sean said there, and of course I'll harp on crop. It's just off to me, and there's nothing wrong with doing an edit and then going back to that edit and seeing if you've gone a little too slider crazy, because I know I've done it many a times, and I go for a coffee, I'll come back and my photo's still on my screen. I'm like, oh God, what have I done? Just back it off a little.
I dig it. You got a score for composition technical skill?
I'm gonna give it 7.5.
7.5. I like it. Seb, where are you sitting?
7, same. For me, I really like the first thing that came to mind was this is taken to thermal, almost like it's thermal imagery, almost the way that it flares up. But what you're seeing, and it almost looks like this could be a cardboard cutout, so to speak, just as it sort of, what's the word? It basically like comes out of the picture as in almost like in an artificial way. Like it's not quite part of the picture. It's almost like it was an add-on, so to speak. So I wouldn't have known how to technically describe that, but that's what I'm seeing. So that's it for me.
The sheer contrast of the black, like how complete it is, makes it flat. There's no depth to it. There's no piece. The only thing that really pops out of it is that the Canadian flag.
Now, is it my imagination, but does this look like it's on the shooting range in winter? You can see the shooting stakes up on the berms there, and the tree line in the off on the flank. It looks like Buddy's looking downrange and maybe going to move up to the firing line.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. The only thing, and the other piece to Pat's thought was the crop. Would it be bad per se to move the subject, like the person, off to the right a bit so you get the rest of that rifle? Or
that's what I would do for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's kind
of and it's because sometimes you end up with that shot, right? And so if that isn't consciously taken at the moment of shooting, which it should be, always look through your viewfinder or on your screen and kind of think about your composition then. But when you go into post, well, then this should have just been like right tight cropped, like the top, like even cut about, like the top edge of the helmet off, bring the crop up to just above the elbow, and then in on each side. So it's just that you end up focusing just on the Canadian flag, and you can make out the fact that it's a soldier scene. That's what I would have done if I would have ended up with this photo, but I didn't have the room.
Yeah.
We keep bringing up the subject of cropping or composition as kind of a bit of a struggle for a lot of photos. I'm just going to say this. When I take a photo, the very, very, very first thing I do post-process or in my software, the first thing I do with my image is crop it. It's the very first thing I do. I don't look to adjust contrast or light or color or whatever. The first thing I do is crop. I create my image crop, and then I get on to the next thing. So there's no point in putting a whole pile of work into a photo. And then once you've put 5 minutes, 50 minutes into a photo, then look at it and think, now how am I going to crop this? When you finish cropping it, you might have wasted an hour, because if you would have started with your crop, you would realize that it's not worth putting another 50 minutes into. Always start with your crop first. That's just my opinion.
I take it. Well, Shaun, while I got you, creativity, originality. Where you can put
7.
7. All right, Pat.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5. I almost want to give it an 8 because the creativity is coming in the post. It's overdone, but there's definitely a visual amount of attempt of creativity here.
Mm-hmm. I went with an 8 on myself, so I'm with you in the same boat in the fact that like taking the time to really build that out. Seb, what do you think?
7.5 as well.
7.5. I like it. All right, moving on to relevance. Seb, coming right back to you. What do you think?
I'd say 8 for me. I mean,
8.
it has a fair amount of relevance to the subject at hand, but it also, yeah, I like it. I think it's good.
Shaun, what do you think?
Is it wrong that I'm trying to determine whether there's a magazine in or a magazine out? And that will determine how cool the photo is?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 8.
An 8. I think from the angle of that rifle, he does not have a mag in. That is just the mag well right at the base there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Pat, what do you think?
It's in a 7.5.
7.5. All right.
Yeah.
I like it. I went with 8 myself. Seb, you were going to say something, but you were muted. What's up?
Sorry, I was just gonna say I don't know if I agree with that. I think that the way that you're seeing the L-can and the way it could be that mag is in there. It really could.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. I'm with you. I see it.
It could be.
Could be, but I don't.
Would it make it cooler if it was, though?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Mags in, it's always cooler for sure. If you can get any shots with the mag in and the BFA off, you're good. But it's always the mixture of those things.
BFA, what? Oh man, I haven't heard that in years.
Right. Ethos Naros jumped in here. He says, personally, I feel black and white should be generally reserved to timeless type of photos. Anything that really captures the time or the technology of the time, I think should have some color to it. Interesting thought to it. Then we go with the
Well, it is an interesting thought, because this morning on Instagram, I was looking at a little IG post, and it was talking about how prevalent indigo dyeing was in Japan before Japan started to convert into a more modern society. Nearly everyone was wearing indigo blue dyed clothing from a prefecture, and it was just part of the culture. And so all of the black and white photos that you see just before the Edo period changed over, you'd never know that most of those people were wearing indigo blue in the photos. And so there'll be photos of samurai wearing jackets in black and white photos, and they look like timeless, they look like contrasty, they look like impactful, but they'd look way different if that was an indigo blue jacket that the person was wearing. And so I have seen this morning hand-colored indigo blue dye, hand-colored black and white images that completely change the look of the samurai warrior in that moment. And it's just because at the time, black and white was all there was. But if there would have been color, that samurai would have not looked as rad, if you will. And so just food for thought.
Yeah, absolutely. Ethos Narrows jumped in here and said there's a halo around the image. You're right, there is. Ghost says the subject is lost to the process rather than the focus, and as you guys were saying. And then Dancy says the bullet gobbler requires feeding, as always it does. Yes. Moving on to Stoke and artistic factor vibe. Shaun, I'm going right back to you. What do you think?
You know what? As much as I've said that some of the software issues with the photo aren't really working for me, I do love the fact that the Canadian flag is popping.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's all the person was trying to capture in that moment, that's good enough for me. So I'll give it an 8.5.
All right, I dig it. 8.5. Pat, what are you thinking?
Give it an 8. Yeah, I mean, it was intentional what he was trying to do there. Yeah.
Yep, I'm in the same boat. Seb, what are you thinking?
7.5.
7.5, dropping it down. I like it. All right, we got a couple more here, I think, before we got to shut her down. And here we go. We got AB Sook put this one in. He had a whole story about exactly what was happening here, but I don't think we need it right now. What are your guys' first thoughts? Seb, I'm gonna hit you first.
Yeah, first thought for me is it looks like a almost color photo. You know, like it's not quite black and white and it's not quite dark enough or contrasting enough. It almost looks like on the verge of being in a colored photo. So for me, it has a little bit more of a flat feel. I like the scene. I think it looks good. But yeah, I like it. I don't know if I love it. And there's another weird piece for me, which is there seems to be some sort of a difference almost in time frame between the technology on the right and the technology on the left. So I'm assuming that's the Canadian Navy.
Correct.
Got to get Seb back.
Yeah. Modern
Welcome to the Canadian Navy.
Pat, you got any thoughts?
Best.
It's a photojournalistic like photo. It's good. I mean, I feel there's a story there.
Yeah.
It doesn't super fire me up, but yeah, there's a story here.
Yeah. Shaun, what do you think?
I do love the fact that the technology is confusing me against the wooden galleon on the left. But I'm gonna like be a little bit of a party pooper in the sense of push back against the guys because I do appreciate there's two photos here to my eye. There's the kind of flat and boring image of the wooden galleon on the left. There's not enough detail really provided for you to buy in. It's not like all of the characters up on the galleon's deck are in focus, so you can't like really connect to them, but you can connect to the people on the right. And so it's almost like there's a line going down the middle that separates two different images, if you will. And so that kind of works for my eye. It keeps me involved in the crowd. I'm actually, in my mind's eye, I'm the guy who's zooming in on the wooden galleon, as it were. I don't feel connected to the ship. I feel connected to the guy's fingers as he's trying to expand. I feel like he's trying to digitally zoom in to capture someone up on the upper wooden railing. And so, yeah, this image does work for my eye.
I like it. I was thinking it almost needs to be cut in half. Like you said, it's like you have the image of the ship, but the real image is the person taking the photo almost, because he is the focal point rather than everything else. Because it almost seems like the focus is on his right hand there, because you can see all the texture on it, and like that's a great shot just in and of itself. But you almost get distracted by the boat and the rest of it, or the ship. I guess it's not a boat before all the Navy guys come after me. And Nancy jumps in here. He says, "Hey, we were stealth." You can't consider yourself stealth if you're not on the water. So, any thoughts here off the top? We'll go composition, technical skill. Shaun, did I get Pat's thoughts on this one or no? I don't think I
You did.
Okay,
Yeah,
Shaun?
you did. Yeah.
I like the technicality of this image. Whether I feel that it was taken intentionally to capture the image of the person who's trying to digitally zoom in on his phone. I feel like that is telling a story to me, and so I like the composition of this photo. I really do.
All right. Would you score it then?
Well, I wouldn't score it overly high, but I do like the composition. I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8. I like it. Pat, what are you thinking?
I'll give it a solid 7.5. It's off candor. It's like it's again, it's not level. And there's amazing tools. You can literally, if you have Lightroom, you can draw a line on that lamp post on the right, and it will take the whole photo and do that with it, and you'll be able to just automatically do it. And so yeah, this like off camber with a ship as well in the shot just makes me feel off camber.
I feel you. Seb, what are you thinking?
Yeah, 7.5 for me as well.
Yeah, if I like it. I'm going to go with a 7 on my end. Creativity, originality. What do you think, Seb? I'll hit you right back.
I'll give it a 7, I think.
A 7. All right. Pat?
I'll give it a 7.5. I mean, I can't like, to me, it tells a story of either homecoming or home leaving. And so I kind of dig it. So I'll give it a 7.5.
All right. Shaun, what do you think?
I'm going to bump my score down a little bit to a 7, simply because I feel like the photographer could have used the advantages of black and white photos some more, could have really played with B&W to draw more out of this photo. So I'm kind of downgrading it to some degree. So a 7.
Yeah, I went with a 7 as well. Ethos Narrows jumped in here. He says, I know I said color captures the time, but in this case, I think the black and white works just because the iPhone and the main technology in the ship are relatively neutral colors. Interesting point. Then Ghost jumps in and says, Shaun, I love it, but wouldn't marry it. Grading scale.
Yeah.
Relevance. Shaun, what do you think?
Yeah, it's relevant to the competition, of course. I just feel like the photographer had more to give in this one, and so yeah, 7.
7. All right. Pat?
7.5.
7.5. And while I got you, I'm going to tell you to stop clicking your pen because that is killing me right now.
Oh, sorry. Just
What do you think? Whatever that
You're
is.
clicking your camera lens.
Yeah. Taking photos as we go. Seb, what do you got? Oh,
7.
7. I like it. I'm going to go with 7 as well. Stoke/vibe. What do you think? Seb, come right back to you.
I'd go with 7 as well.
7. Pat?
7.
7. Shaun?
I'm not super stoked.
Yeah.
6.5.
6.5. Wow. I guess I'm the harsh one. I was going to go 6 because it's just kind of a flat image. I really would have preferred if he had zoomed in on the hand. Like that would have just done it for me right there. But all right, that is all we got for that one. We're going to move on here to another one. Again, some of these I don't have names for, but I just have them listed as on air.
Ooh, that's fun. I bet I know who that is as well. That is probably B. Jordan.
Oh, maybe.
Used to be in radio, used to be an announcer, used to be on air down in the US, a big long career as a radio host or just basically radio station work for many, many years. So I'll bet that's from him, B. Jordan.
Maybe. I don't. I got it. Pat sent it to me, and I just got him in a group, so I don't actually have a name on that. So Pat might be able to get it to me later. But right off the top, any thoughts? Composition, technical score. Right back to you, Shaun.
Personally, I love it, and I'm going to give it a 9.
9. Bam! Look at that.
That's right, Pat. You can raise your eyebrows at me all you want. Now
First
you've got
9 out of the
to
whole thing,
figure
what?
out why you're giving it a 3.
It's not his first 9. Shaun gave a 9 to Dan C's photo, so not quite. What do you think, though, Pat?
Yeah, no, I dig it. I just think the vibe, and it feels a very suiting for black and white. I'm gonna give it 8.5 for sure.
8.5. I like it. Seb, where are you sitting?
Yeah, same 8.5 for me. I really like the tones or the difference between like the ultra white and the little less white and the silvers. And the one thing that's again, and I don't know if it's just symmetry type thing, but it's the crop again for me that kind of throws me off a little bit. But I do like the general tone of it and just the historical, very cool flair that it has.
Yeah, I dig it. I went with a 9. You know what it really reminds me of is a lot of the animation from like the 70s and the 80s, and like I could see this thing turning into like a monster and like starting to talk to people. But um, moving on from that though, creativity, originality. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I like it, man. One of the things that maybe I don't want to call it an unsophisticated eye. I'll say this, an untrained eye. When you're looking at a photo like this, if you look at the tape deck, the bottom left corner of the tape deck or the corner on the left that's closest to us, you'll see how it's kind of a little blown out. It looks like there's too much light on it to some degree. But I appreciate that if the photographer is really experienced because they made the decision to leave that almost blown out highlight. They left it there on purpose because it's that play with light and shadow that really makes a black and white photo pop. And so it's on the verge of blowing out, but I feel like they made the right decision in leaving that amount of light on the tape deck. So there's many ways that this photo could have been adjusted to maybe quote unquote look technically better, but I love the fact that it is as is with quote unquote technical flaws that really, really make this photo unique. So I'm giving it a 9.
9. Look at that, Pat. What are you thinking?
Sorry, I was looking up who shot it, and
Creativity and originality is where we're at.
Oh, great, right. Yeah, I'll give it 8.5. I'm gonna stay pretty midline here. And this was Matt Allen. He's the one that shot this. 20-year veteran of the RCMP.
Oh wow,
fantastic. Seb, what do you think? Creativity, originality.
Yeah, same 8.5. I really, especially knowing the story now as Pat, somebody that likely never necessarily worked with that type of equipment, and just the going back in time is a great step to me.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I went with 8 on my end here. Relevance. Seb, I'm going to hit you first. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say 9.
9. I like it. Pat?
9. Yeah, I'll go 9.
Sean?
9.
9. I am in agreement with y'all. 9s across the board. Stoke value. Pat, I'm going to start with you. I haven't started with you for a while. So what do you got?
I mean, stoked. I'm gonna put it at an 8. I'm not like super stoked by it, but I'm also like, this is a cool photo.
Semi-stoked. I like it. Sean, what do you think?
I'm with Pat. 8.
8. All right. Seb, where are you at?
Same.
8. I like it. I'm going to join you guys with 8s as well. All right. I think we got time for one more if we can do it quickly.
Let's do 2 quick ones. Two
quick ones?
At least that, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we got this one here. Again, don't have a name for it. I just named it Baby Golf.
I don't remember his name. His Instagram account is Spicy Campers. He's a vet.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, let's review this quickly then. Composition, technical skill. What do you think, Sean?
Well, there are some technical errors in it if we're going to be technical in composition. If you just take the porch door and you look at the edge of the porch door, you can see how that could have been lined up a little straighter. But then who's he trying to line up, the porch door or the kid in the, I'm assuming it's a cat thing. Yeah. So there's some minor technical errors, but overall, I like the composition. And it's what I'm struggling with most is the really strong attributes of black and white photo are contrast and light and shadow texture. And so this photo doesn't actually take full advantage of that. But because it doesn't, because it is a bit muted, it's a bit less contrasty, it gives it a more timeless aspect. This could be almost like a 1800s Christmas card scene, you know what I mean? Like it could be Victorian as it were. It's timeless. And it's timeless because of the less contrasty, less shaped image. And so the strengths of B&W can also be its downfall and vice versa. So in this sense, I think it works. I'm going to give it a 9. And I know that seems bizarre, given that I love strong contrast, light and shadow. But this is a 9 to me.
Yeah. Pat, what do you think?
Again, coming in at 8. I love the fact that this was taken, that the shot was taken, the decisive moment happened, all those things. Of course, you have that moment afterwards in the post to straighten it. But I do like the crop. So, and I do like I do feel like, yeah, I agree with Shaun. Yeah, I'm gonna stay with my score.
All right. Sweet. Seb, what do you got?
Sorry, I'm gonna go 8.5. I think it has the absolute most Eastern European feel I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Whether it's Romania or Serbia or whatever, it's just there's something very, and I don't mean it that as an insult, of course, if you're not from there, but it does have that feel, and it really does have that timeless piece. There's I don't know, there's something for me that I would have liked to have seen a little bit more contrast, but I understand technically what Shaun was alluding to. So having had the opportunity to hear him say it kind of makes sense, and it gives it that timeless piece. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, I gave it an 8 myself, and I think it was the exposure to me, like just how bright it is. I really quite enjoy it. And there's something, as you said, Eastern European about like the snow and the trees and just the positioning of everything. I really dig it.
And the kids look.
Absolutely.
Like you could put those eyes. There's no snow behind. There's no trees behind. There's no window behind. You give me those eyes, and I'll start making determinations pretty quickly.
Very fierce.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so let's move on to creativity, originality. Pat, what do you think?
Creativity, originality is an 8.5 for sure. This is a decisive moment, and it's not necessarily creative or original, but it was a super decisive moment to take a picture of it. I'm going to give it 8.5. Yep.
All right, I like it. Shaun, what do you got?
Yeah, Pat, right from the get-go, when he created this photo competition and asked us to kind of get involved with it, the very first things that he started to talk about was hashtag the decisive moment. And it's super important. This is a decisive moment. And here's another decisive moment, the double down decisive, putting this photo into the competition, because it like you almost take a chance taking a photo like this, because like if it's your son, like I want to take this photo, but at the same time I want to be prepared to like catch him in case he falls out of the cat hamper. And so like you've kind of got to let the moment unfold, which is decisive, and be part of it, which is decisive, but then throw it into a competition. Holy, that's decisive, man. And so, like, I appreciate not the guts that it takes to put this photo in, but I kind of do. I hope that makes sense. So, I love it, man. I'm giving it a 9.
A 9, I like it. All right. And Seb, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going 8.5. I would probably give a 9 to the follow-up photo, which is the little golf club going through that window. If it happened.
Totally.
That's next year.
Yeah. All right. Relevance. Seb, I'm going to come right back to you.
Yeah, 8.5 again.
8.5. I like it. Pat, where are you at?
Solid 8.5 for me as well.
All right. Shaun?
8.5.
8.5. I'm going to be the lone dissenter and put it as an 8 because I don't know. I'm just going to go with an 8. That's what I feel, right? Shaun, what do you think for Stoke?
Sadly, it doesn't stoke me up. There's part of me that, like, I start getting stoked, but then it doesn't take me right to the finish line. So, as weird as that sounds, I'm a 7.5 on Stoke.
All right. I like it. 7.5 on the Stoke. Pat, where are you at?
I'm going 8. It's it's not necessarily a Stoke that I feel, but I feel the emotion of the mischievousness of the kid. It's great.
Yeah, I'm with you. Seb, where are you at?
7.5.
7.5. I went with a 7 myself. Again, similar to Pat, it's a cool photo, but I'm not super stoked about the whole thing.
Do you know what is interesting? Pat, you said mischievous, and like we're all making our own determinations. The moment that you take a look at a photo, you've made an opinion. It's whether you accept the opinion or not. And it's whether you sink into that opinion and think about it more deeply. So I'd already assigned in my mind that it was more than just mischievous. I saw a mischievous determination I'm seeing determination in that kid's eyes. Like he's going to grow up to be something like a force that, if shaped properly, will create outcomes. And so there is some mischievousness, but I just see purpose. So whatever it's worth.
I can see it for sure as well. Ethos Nero says the railings should be vertical 100%. And then he says, man, I agree with Shaun like 93% of the time. And this reminds me of a creepy 1800s kids photo.
Do you like surprises?
Do you like golfing?
You know, those porcelain dolls from back in the day could very, very, very well be one of those. All right. So we got one. I think we got time for one more if we can do it quick.
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. This is the second submission from Corbin Bobby. Here we go.
We definitely have time for one more because I think I know, to me, what would be the winner of this whole contest is.
Get a grip, Chance. Freaking get a grip.
Okay, I'm trying, man. There's so many.
What the heck?
Anyway,
This is just me being devil's advocate, but if we have people submitting 2 photos and we have no time to get people that have even submitted 1 photo, we should probably give the chance to.
What the hell, Chance?
I'm going off of what I got. We touched on everybody, and now that's why I'm in the second group right now.
All right.
Missing one.
Yeah, you're missing one. I sent it to you on Messenger. It's of a church. Sent it in by Salty Jinx there.
Right. I know he sent it to me. I will. Well, let me get it up then. Give me 2 seconds. I'll let you guys.
Dude, screwing over salters, that is uncool.
That's not cool. You're right. I'll get that up in 2 seconds. Just give me a minute and I will get that sorted.
I was digging into this one while you're sorting it.
Dig into this one. Yeah, exactly. And then we'll go from there. Yeah. So, Shaun, what do you think?
Well, compared to the other architectural photo, I think this is a superior photo, to be honest. The cropping, just there's a touch on the left-hand side of the cropping just isn't really working for me quite as well as it could. I want either more stairs or I want less stairs. I want the house in the center or less. The cropping is imperfect to my eye. But overall, I feel like architecturally, it's a better shot than that last one. So I'm going to give it an 8.5.
8.5. All right. I like it. Pat, what are you thinking?
I don't want to be a jerk here, and I appreciate everyone submitting photos. But has there been one straight photo yet? Like
less than I would have cared for sure.
Like I want to say like the majority, they're crooked. And it drives me crazy because I shoot crooked all the time. I'll shoot crooked, but I fix it later. And you have to sometimes. And sometimes you'll lose some of your photo in that crop straightening it out, but it has to be done because off-kiltered, unless purposely Dutched, which is normally an action photo, you'll normally Dutch an angle. You won't Dutch an angle on something architectural or something like this. And I can't say that that's like, and if you do Dutch, it's normally very intentional. You very much.
It's an advanced move. You've got to be an advanced photographer to be doing those kind of things intentionally.
Otherwise, it's a good photo. I love the contrasting. I love the foreground, the background. The crop isn't terrible. It is getting close to being centered, but not centered. So watch that. And yeah, I mean it's a house. So I mean I'm not like super stoked on it, but that's just me.
Did you actually give it a score or no? I didn't hear one.
Oh, sorry. I'll give it an 8. No, I'll give 7.5.
7.5. I like it. Seb, where you at?
Yeah, I'm at a 7.5 as well. I like it. I do like it. I have the same issues as Shaun with the crop. I do feel that there's a lot of texture. If you look at the sky, for example, it almost looks like there's a halo in the middle and there's a variety of different textures on the left and right. I really like the trees and the clarity on the house. Even the little windows at the top are very clear. But I'm not super stoked on it, so it's nice.
Yeah, I feel like I put it as an 8. Again, I really like the lower angled shots, and I do like the texture of the stones. But you guys are right. It's a house, and there's but I dig the angle of it. Creativity, originality. Shaun, what do you think?
I feel like someone had to stand there and look up at that house and think about how they were going to shoot it. This isn't just like you're walking upstairs and you pull your photo out and just turn it off to the right-hand side and start clicking. So it was thoughtful, but I feel like there's more to give in this position. I feel like there's more to capture in this position. So 7.5.
7.5. I like it. All right, Pat, where you at?
Yeah, I'm giving it 7.5. I mean, some people really dig this type of photography where there's just like a lot of like texture and um, um, contrasty kind of stuff. But even then, it's yeah, I'm at a 7.5.
All right, Seb, where you at?
Yeah, I'll give it an 8. For me, it screams archaeological site for whatever reason, just in the way that it's laid out,
Yeah.
and that adds to a little bit of the creative sort of angle for me.
Yeah, I went with an 8 as well. In terms of relevance, though, what do we got? I'm going to hit Seb first. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd go 7.5.
7.5. Pat, where you at?
7.5. I feel like this was a color photo that was just converted to black and white without any consideration to some of the other elements, but I could be wrong.
That's a good point. Could very well be. Sean, what do you think?
7.5.
You guys in your 0.5, you're going to make me do math today. Jeez. I'm going to go with a 7, I think, on this one. Stoke value or Stoke vibe. What do you think, Pat?
I'm gonna be a jerk here. This is 6.5 for me. I have no stoke for this. Sorry.
I like it. Sean, where you at?
Yeah, I'm going to be even harsher. 6. And here's why. And it's got nothing to do with, there's someone down the street right now who'll give this a 9 for whatever reason. And I'm giving it a 6. And here's why. Because standing in the boots of the photographer, trying to imagine what is going on in their mind, which is generally how I view these things, I'm trying to figure out what they were trying to focus on. What were they trying to capture? Was it the first row of rocks, the second row of rocks, the third row of rocks, the house, the sky, the trees? What were they trying to capture? Because it's all captured. It's just that nothing stands out. It is a confusing collection of a variety of different things that I struggle as the viewer to understand where is my focus. Now, that's great when you've got a blank slate like that where it's free to interpret the way that you want, but then that means that the photographer didn't actively choose what the focus was. And so that's just something to chew on. There's many ways to shoot a photo, to make your point or to have no point. And I feel like this one didn't have a point, which leaves me kind of bumbling around, not really connecting to it. Does that make sense?
Yep, I'm tracking. I put it as 6 in a similar manner, is that it just kind of feels like a snapshot almost. Like it's obvious he took it from a certain angle, but it was more like oh, that's neat. Quick shot, move on. It wasn't really set up to really tell a story or discuss anything. It's just more of a neat photo. Seb?
Yeah, I'm a 7.5 on that. I think there was a little bit more thought that we're just by the way that the sky and the trees on the left and right and everything. I just feel like there was a lot of work, probably a lot of angles tried prior to taking that. I dig it. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, 7.5.
Right on. All right. Last photo we got then is Salty's here. And again, I apologize if I missed any.
Salters.
Here we go. Ba-bam. That is a beauty shot. I know Salty sent that to me a while ago. I must not have saved it in my file, so I'm glad you got that out to me, Pat. Right off the bat, though, composition, technical skill. Let's start with Seb. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a beautiful shot. I'm gonna give it probably I'd give it a 9. I think for that. I have to me and I'm just working myself through it here. To me, when the foreground gets a little flushed out, gets a little abstract, so to speak. I don't know if that makes any sense. And the Plat de Resistance, which is the main piece, which is the church and the inside of the church and everything really draws you in, and it looks amazing. I don't know that I fully understand what's on the left there that's coming through, and then to me, it looks a little bit cardboard cutout shit, like the other one did earlier. On the left side is all I'm talking about. The rest of it looks, beautiful. Yeah, I'd give it a 9. I think it's a really solid shot. It's a nice shot, and it's a meaningful shot. But yeah,
I dig it. Pat, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a start with that composition and the whole thing, because it's a really cool shot. I really like this shot. The subject is an excellent pick. The contrast and everything on that whole shot is just amazing. The only thing is, to me, a little bit again is the crop. You start to lose the detail on the buildings if you were to open it up wider to get whatever's on the left here. The building on the right's unfortunate. So I don't know how it could have been fixed. So I won't go too deep into it. But it just feels like for such a beautiful piece of architecture that there could be just slightly just something. But I love it. I think it's a great shot. So I'm giving it a 9.
9 from Pat. Sean.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you guys off, but like the one thing about architectural photo that a lot of people don't know, like when you do architectural shots, you either have to fix it in post and software to make lines vertical, or you need to use a specific type of lens, which is a tilt shift lens, and that's like a pretty advanced and expensive piece of equipment. And people that do architectural for a living, that's the stuff that they invest in and understand. And so I don't think the average person does understand that. And so I think it's a very good example of what can be achieved.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good to know. Sean?
Yeah, there's a third way as well, and that's use your feet to achieve the architectural image. And I know you know that, Pat, but using what I just said as the example, move forward into the photo and stand right next to that sign that is slightly to the left of the individual, almost in line with the two front doors. There's a sign there. If that photo would have been taken, stood next to that sign, then the building itself would have been more central rather than being taken off from the right-hand side on an oblique angle, which is skewing the front of the building, which is also tilting the building as well on the horizontal. And so there is some application of your feet would have made that a better photo. But if it would have been taken by that sign, then I wouldn't have been able to see, I believe, is the Bahnhof building on the left-hand side, which means this is now in Germany, which now gives me a position in the world, which now connects me to the church in the sense of, okay, this is German architectural situation, which means ... Now I'm filling in the blanks. So just that simple Bahnhof has me like there and actually smelling Schnitzengrubens and all of the good things. And so like I can smell German sausage off to the right, and I can hear German voices off to the left. And so it puts me in the German photo. If we cropped in too tight, this could be a church in a lot of countries in the world. And so you're not just cropping for architectural viewing, you're cropping to either leave in or remove tells or data that will put the person either more in the photo or less in the photo. So cropping isn't just lines, cropping is information. I guess my score that I would give this, just based on the construction of it, I feel there's some technical errors. The fisheye is not really working for me, and the halos coming off the lights and such, but I'm going to give it an 8.
An 8. I like it. I went with a 9 myself just because it's a beautiful shot. My eye is completely drawn to the cathedral itself. But yeah, the cropping issues are kind of troublesome for sure. Creativity, originality. Pat, what do you think?
I'm torn between an 8.5 and a 9. That's why I'm kind of like, what do I go with here? Because it is a beautiful building. It deserves to be photographed. It was consciously photographed. It was photographed dead on to give all those great elements of the shape of the building. Because I am mostly just drawn straight to the building, and that's why, like, sometimes I wish I didn't have some of the distracting things on the right. But I do love this building. I love the everything about it. So I'm gonna. I'll stick with an 8.5.
8.5. I dig it. Seb, what do you think? Creativity, originality.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. I think it's an absolutely epic building, but it's surrounded by Linda, the insurance broker's office on the right, and I think it really takes away from how glorious that building or that shot could have been if that thing was cut out of there. And yeah, so 8 for me.
Yeah. Would you think to like get closer involved, like get beyond this whatever this thing is in the foreground, the little fence line or whatever it is, and just get kind of in front of those steps, so all you would have is just that
Well,
good
that's one. I guess that would be one way to do it, and I don't know what all the ways to do it would be, but I really like the lights. I don't like the glare off of them. The lights would have been
thing.
cool in that shot. I don't know if there would be a way to make that happen while getting rid of the building from a very evidently different era.
Yeah.
Um, just that's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
like if you use software, like I'm pretty confident that if you were to use software like a Lightroom thing to straighten this, you'd actually lose that building on the right because it would tilt the whole building upward and create vertical lines. And so you'd actually end up with a crop where you'd probably, luckily, hopefully, lose both things on the left and right of this, and it would be much more straight because you have enough sky that it would do that. It should do that.
no, that makes sense. I'm gonna give it an 8 on my end. Sean, what do you think for creativity, originality?
Well, I mean, obviously it was an intentional photo. Might have even walked directly to that location specifically to get this photo. It's not something that you just kind of wander around and notice a church off on your right and just, oh, I think I'll get a photo.
Mhm.
So 9 for me.
9 for Sean. I like it. This, I gotta say, Pat, you said this was probably the winner of them all. It might just very well be. Relevance then, Sean. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely relevant to the competition. So 9 it is.
I like it. 9 again for Sean. Pat, where are you at on this one?
That's definitely a solid 9. It's the treatment of the black and white that I really love about this. The control of the light and the dark, like the full black dark and the full foreground. The sky where it has a gradient. Very strong definition in the building itself. It's a 9.
All right, 9 for Pat. Seb, where you at?
9, absolutely.
9. Yeah, I am also in there for sure.
I'd be curious what this was taken with. I think it's a camera phone, but like there's not a lot of noise in it and there's not a lot of pixelation in it. And so it's a pretty clean photo and there's like not a lot of motion blur. And so I am curious as whether this was a handheld camera phone or whether this was a stabilized camera phone. There's just certain aspects about this photo that are tight and shouldn't be as tight as it is if it was just a janky old phone. So I'd love to know more about this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, maybe Salty, you can tell us in a little bit. I got a couple comments here. Ethos jumped in, said, for this cathedral photo, I almost want to see around the corner. They did a corner photo rather than a head-on photo. The black and white lighting is really cool in the stone. And I got to say, so the dog photo or the wolf photo should win. I think we'll see. We will see once the scores are added up. Last portion, Stoke vibe. What do we got across the board? Sean, we'll hit you first.
9.
9. Pat, what do you got?
Yeah, 9. I want to be here. I want to be here looking at this for real.
All right. Seb, where are you at?
Yeah, I'm a 9. It's beautiful.
I am also a 9 in there for sure.
Yeah, just got a question for you guys, and this is for the viewers, but we'll figure it out as you're answering the question. When you see this photo, are you looking for all of the details, all the aspects, all of the straight or not, and are you looking for technical, or are you feeling it? Because when I look at this photo, I can feel being inside it. I can feel the echoes. I can feel the coldness of the stone surrounding me, like I'm in it. And so when you interpret a photo, you can look at it for its surface value, or you can look at it as deeply as you care to. And so for me, I put myself in the boots of the photographer, and then I put myself in the photo, which means I'm now inside the church, which I'm now hearing echoes. And so just food for thought for any of the listeners or viewers. But to you guys, how do you feel about that? Does that make sense to you?
I'm tracking.
Not only that, I'll add on to Sean's point. Maybe we should move Stoke vibe to the beginning of the judging criteria,
I
because
agree.
really it comes down to it. It's like, how does it make me feel? That's, I think, any photo should be. Does it punch me in the chest, or could I just flip past it in a magazine? You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And there's quite a spectrum there, and that's what makes photo.
And Pat, you've actually said this in the past, and we really should have reinforced it. Earlier on, you'd said, is this something that I would like hang on my wall? Is this something that I would frame? Is this something that I would want to see on a magazine cover? Is this something of note? And so that note is usually that feel. And so I think you're right. We got to put feel up first.
Raj, I will do that. I got a thing right here. Vibe goes first. I will make sure that is what we look at for the next one. We do have an overall winner in terms of score across the board, and I'm stoked for this. So who do you guys think? Who would you pick as the winner overall before I give you the actual scores? Shaun, what would you think is the winner, the best shot so far today?
Well, it's hard to choose because certain photos stand out for different reasons. And like the very first thing that popped into my head, believe it or not, was the golf club moment. And it was the young boy's eyes. And so that really, like, I won't be able to forget that for quite a few days. Just a feeling that I got from that moment. But the actual photo itself was not like technically amazing. It was just, there's just a certain thing. There's a certain feel about that photo. And so sliding that off to the side, the next thing that stands out is the wood carving. Just because as a photo, technically, I appreciated the photo. It didn't give me much of the same vibe as the golf moment, but it gave me a technical feel that I really appreciated. But then the moment that actually captures this entire competition for me the most is Salters. So the photo of the church, like there's some technical errors there. There's some feeling that I would have wanted more of. But overall, synthesized as a totality, as Seb likes to say, I feel like that photo captured it the best for me for this competition. So there's my three answers.
Tracking. Pat, who would you put at the top?
I mean, I'm almost exactly where Sean is. The cathedral shot for me overall is the best one in my opinion. I love the wood carving shot, and I do love the golf club shot. Those are the top three in my eyes for sure. And it's probably in that order: cathedral, wood carving, the golf club, probably. And the second and third are so tight, like they could be interchangeable.
It's pretty tight as it is. Seb, what do you think? Where would you put the top shots?
You know, this kind of reminds me of when somebody asks you, like, who's your best group, or in what, like classical, rock, you know, like because really they might be at the exact same level, but what are we looking at? What am I judging him by? If I'm in the mood for rock, I'm not gonna pick the other one, you know. So, anyways, I digress. But I do love the wood carving. I really do. I think that to me, it's probably the top shot. It for my sort of how I feel about it. I would put Salties as a very close second. If I had a choice between hanging out at the carving and be at the church, I'd be in Salties for sure. And you know, I really liked the military shot too. And even though it scored a bit lower, I really liked the haunted house shot. That one I kept on thinking quite a long time after. And so, you know, I don't know. It's just it's all on any given day. It could be any of those two for sure for me.
Yeah,
But you know, the interesting thing is, if I heard everyone correctly, it's about feeling. It's about the vibe that you feel in that moment. And as Seb said, the rock group that you're in the mood for that moment. And tomorrow, those photo orders might be inverted based on how you woke up that morning, what kind of coffee you wanted that morning, you know, the rising of the sun that morning. So anyone out there who's putting their photos in thinking that, man, I feel like I should have got fourth, not fifth. Tomorrow you might have. And so don't worry about how you scored or whether you were first or 23rd. It doesn't much matter. That the photo competition isn't about how you placed. It's about how much fun you had taking the photos, how much you might learn from listening to the show, seeing other people's art. It is art, not just a photo. Seeing other artists work and maybe raising your game through all of those things, and looking forward to next month. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, let me break it down for everybody then, because in first place with a score of about 139.5, basically, I just added everyone's scores up. So across the board, we have a total in each category, and then I added all those categories together. Or added all of our scores together to come up with a total score. Salty comes up with a 139.5. He is our winner today with this majestic photo for sure. Second place goes to this guy right here on air with a score of 136.5. And then we got a tie for third place between Dan Cameron and Jared Hernandez. Those guys tied at 133.5. And then at fourth, fifth, and sixth, they're all within a couple of points of each other. So it's pretty great. This is just an amazing photo, though, Salty. So, and to everybody, really do appreciate everyone putting their photos in. Some really great ones, and we've learned quite a bit about black and white across the board. The one thing I do want to just throw out here, we got a couple of comments. The Satch Emotion jumped in here, says, I go for feeling personally as to your question. Dan C says, first thing I felt was the majesty of that area. And Ethos says, I personally would like to see more shadows. That's absolutely. Dan C says, thank you, gentlemen. I'm feeling very happily humbled. Have a great weekend and play safe. That's fantastic. Now, in terms of prizes for this month, I have been completely behind the ball, so I will figure something out for sure, and we'll get prizes out to the top three this month.
Well, I did say I would, just like last month, I roast some coffee and mail that out. I'll do the same thing. Pick a number, first place, second place, or I'm not sending 2 bags of coffee, or I'm not sending coffee to 2 dudes who tied in third. So it's first or second place gets coffee.
Well, how about the winner right now gets the bag of coffee? That's
there. It is.
There it is.
All
There
right.
you go, Salty. You're getting.
I'll send more than one bag, of course, but yeah,
from
coffee.
There you go. Coffee is the way. Any final thoughts on black and white photography across the board? Seb, I'm going to hit you first. What do you think?
Well, it was very enlightening for me, no pun intended, to hear, professionals break down some of the things to look for in that. And quite frankly, what this made me want to do is to go out and do a little bit more photography, because I do like to create things, and I want to try, and I want to send something in, weirdly. So it was awesome to be a part of this, and it was very cool to see these shots.
Yeah, I agree. Pat, you got any final thoughts? Black and white?
Of course, I got final thoughts. One of the biggest ones is I'm super appreciative, for your guys' help with this, and for everyone that submits. And please, whoever's watching or wants to do the next one, put in a photo. We are not here in any way to break your photos down in a negative way. We really just want to help develop people as artists and celebrate the photography as a whole. And I think black and white was a really fun one in the sense that there was no subject matter, right? So we didn't end up like holding anyone. You will be here. You know what I mean? It's like, just take a photo, make it black and white. And it ended up being really rad. There was a lot of great submissions. I was really happy.
I agree. There, look at the rookie mistakes across the board from my end. I'm going to go back up to this comment that I don't know if we got to earlier, but it's not a collective episode if Chance doesn't start getting roasted. So, Shaun, you got any final thoughts?
No, appreciate everyone throwing in their photos. I mean, there were some great photos. All of them were great in their own way, but I mean, some really stood out. And if you feel that yours didn't stand out quite as much as you had hoped, well, guess what? Next month, that's the way it is. Second place is first loser, so deal with it.
Deal with it. I love it. I just want to say thanks to everybody for putting in the shots, sticking with us through the video contests, and this is just, it's been really fun. I have learned so much in terms of photography, and I can't wait to see what comes up next month. We'll have a theme and a and an entrance and all this kind of stuff coming on for next month. Although we might have to push it into May because Shaun's going to be disappearing for a little while.
I can probably do this from Korea. Should be okay.
Well, we'll talk
see.
about that.
We'll see.
We'll see how it works. I like it.
But before you sign off there, Chance, for next month's topic, we usually sit in the green room and figure it out or whatever the case is. But I just want to put it out to all the troops out there, all the veterans who will be engaging next month. Send in a topic that you think we should hit, the one that you think is underserved, or something that you feel your peers would really appreciate as a topic. So send them into Chancey Boy and let's get her rolling.
Yeah, it's the way to do it. I'm stoked for this one. Dan C jumped in here and says, I was surprised mine showed it all. You got a great show. You got a great shot, buddy. I got nothing else. So as we all continue to learn, build, and grow, we'll see you next week. Jimo. Oh no, my outro video wasn't there. Here we go. Thanks everybody for watching and being part of the collective. If this has sparked any thoughts or resonated with you, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us grow and keeps the conversation going. We'll see y'all next time.